up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Oh, look at me. I'm retarded. I'm a globe.
The whole system is designed to disconnect you from your intuition. Why? Disconnected people are easy to manipulate. Everything from sunscreen to politics to the food industry. It's all designed to disconnect and manipulate you. We are in the middle of a war right now, but it's not a traditional war. It's a war on consciousness. It's a war on freedom. This is the time to listen, not to the news. No, your intuition, your gut, your heart. Love is the greatest weapon against darkness. How do you love more? You begin by loving yourself. How do you love yourself? You listen to the messages your body is telling you.
I'm scared, Dad.
Do you trust me, son?
Yes.
Come on, son. Rule number 1, never trust anybody.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, coming to you 251.2 miles above your imagination from the International Fake Station. I'm up here. We're lucky we made it on time. I'm with my co-pilot, Something Wong. We blasted off to get up here in time for the show. And lo and behold, Something Wong left his wallet at his mom's. So we had to do the chopstick landing. Okay. And he ran home real quick and got his wallet. And we blasted off from there. And we made it here just in time. Trust me, bro. So how's everyone doing tonight? Oh, my goodness. What do we got going on in here? All these chats rolling by really quick. Holy crap. Look at all the people we've got in the chat here tonight already. Let's see, we got Only Up Dudes, suggestive. Unindoctrinated's here. Half Warrior is with us. Saw some cool comments coming in too. Mojo Shop, what's happening, brother? Let's see who Jehovah's daughter Barbara. What's going on, babe? Nikki Duncan is here with us tonight. Saddle Bum, and also once again, thank you for your support. We do have some of the people here that do support the channel and from time to time give a monetary donation to the cause, and I really appreciate that. Deborah Clark's another one that I've received from several of you. The options, boy, I got the link for the PayPal. I guess I never had it up before, but it's down in the description. Of course, my Cash App, and I'll have a banner running up. But, don't feel obligated at all, because that's one of the things that I cling to with this is because, I can always claim I'm not doing this for the money. I don't sell shirts. I don't sell fucking hats. I don't even get paid by YouTube. They don't want to pay me. They don't. I don't care. That's fine. Rumble at least pays me a little bit. It's not much to speak of, but you know, hey, it is what it is. I at least got to say that they don't choke. My throat is tight, and they're at least willing to pay for the content that I produce. So that's cool. I really appreciate that. And the people that support me over there on Rumble. If you are not subscribed to my Rumble channel, go over there, SSUM369, and there's a little penguin with a shotgun. Let me see. I'll get you the link to that too. Make sure you're subscribed over there, because there are times that we just kind of blow off of this YouTube and just stay over there. I see Leo Slayer's over there. Leo is always there. Good to see you, Leo. And it looks like it's only showing 8 people watching, but that changes. Boy, I'll tell you what, when we just switch over and go to Rumble, boy, I watch the numbers climb right up there and we get a pretty good audience. And at the end of the day, we end up with a pretty damn good view count, you know? So that's pretty cool. Look at there's who did I see? Let's see. I'm missing all these people. Lowry, Half Warrior. Let me see here. We got Burn the Corporate Fictions here too. He has a link too. He said he's got some cool information. Listen, who the fuck had Death Fog on the bingo card, man? I never would have pulled Death Fog out of anywhere with any of this, you know. But that seems, I guess, that's a thing that's happening now. As according to, I guess, on X and shit that I see, and on Facebook, I'm seeing people talking about going out with this fog of particulates that they end up having respiratory disorders. And, you know, this is the thing that gets me. And I'm wondering if that had anything to do with my illness. And I'm like, no, shit, not a chance. No. Come on, really? You even have to ask that? Criminally. Anyway, Justin Johnson's here tonight. Screwtube Gate. Yeah, listen, there's a lot of this going on out here. Gaslight. That's what I was thinking of that song today. Flashlight. Let's see who we got. Rumham Solio. William Korb is with us too. There's Shawnee B. Man, oh man, we got a bunch of people in here. Bjorn Anderson. I like to say that word. Bjorn. I like that. It's kind of cool. Swedish names are fun. I don't know. Let's see what we got. Anybody else? Chicago Cubby Bear I missed in here. Martin Haley. Okay, so look, this is I was thinking about this gaslighting that's going on right now. Regarding this final excrement, and that's what I'm going to call it, because as it turns out, that's what it amounts to be, excrement. Now, if you're even going to partially go into the idea of this even being an experiment, it has to be clean. It has to be pure. And it already is tampered with. You understand? The results have shown. And what did I say when this first started? Duffy asked me, he said, what will it mean if there's a 24-hour sun? Several people asked that. What will it mean if you see a 24-hour sun? And I said, one of two things. It will mean either that there is some kind of an anomaly with the sun that we don't quite fully understand, or there is some fuckery afoot. Okay? As it turned out, from what I've seen, and all it takes is a small amount, is fuckery. And I'm just calling it for what it is, man. And I mean, I'm just trying to wrap my head around why. So that I'm putting stuff behind a paywall and all this other bullshit because I have to cover my expenses and everything. Wait a second. I thought Duffy was covering all the fucking expenses. They wanted you to go. So bad. So bad. And we played out this whole drama. Okay? up to and including the bullying of people trying to get them to go down to this fuckery. You understand? And then I watched when they're giving away the rose, you know, kind of like The Bachelor. Remember that show? Some stupid ass reality show where this guy, he gave away a rose to whoever the fuck was going to get to go be on the island with him or whatever the hell he was doing, or marry him or whatever, right? And it was obviously just like already set up from the beginning, I think. I mean, the one guy that seemed to be very qualified, and I can't seem to remember who that was offhand. I'd have to go back and check. But I mean, he was like the first guy to go. He'd already been doing all kinds of solar observations all the time. He had all the equipment, he had all the data, he had all the filters, everything that was needed to be able to do these things, right? Boom. Nope. Shit can that guy. So I'm like, what the fuck, man? And then they pick, you know, and I ain't got nothing against Elizabeth, but I'm thinking of all the people who would have been qualified to go and bring back some results. You chose this girl who's on some kind of a social app that, frankly, I had never heard of, and I can't even retain what the name of it is. It's I guess some kind of a speech app or some kind of shit, not video, or I don't know what the fuck these kids are doing with their snap face and their face chat and all that dumb shit. Jesus, it's too much to keep up with, you know. But you know what I'm saying is that there was already so much dishonesty right from the get-go. I don't know how anybody could ever have taken any of it serious. But we did, and here we are. And I have to say, God damn it, if Jaron and Whitsitt had not been participants in this circus, they would be analyzing all of this shit like we are exactly the same way. How many NASA blunders have you guys picked out along with us all, looking at, oh, look, you can see this, you can see that. Look, you can clearly see that this is done this way, and this is how they film this, that, and the other. You know you would. You know you would. And there's just too much shit that is suspect. The supposed 24-hour stream that, oh, well, Starlink went down or whatever else like that. Man, what happened to the video that was there before Starlink went down? If my internet went down right now, everything that I've done on this show up till now would still be here, wouldn't it? Of course it would. And there's just too much damning stuff. And look, man, if you couldn't see your breath because of whatever the humidity to temperature ratio wasn't correct enough, then by God, you know, say, fuck, I don't know why we can't see my breath. Seems like I should. Maybe we should look into that. No. Instead, you go and you hide down and smoke a vape and then stand up and let it out and then go, oh, now what's up? Real haughtily. Look, man, if you have to do any deception whatsoever, the whole thing's fucking contaminated. I don't care. And it's not just one thing. It's the drone going all the way back. And I have the video. I saved it. That thing's beeping way too fast. It doesn't do like that. It starts off slow. And as it gets closer to something, it gets faster. Well, this thing got away from Duffy and started going back further. And as it got going back further, then it went real slow. Doot, doot, doot. And then a few minutes later here, doot, 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 like that. So as he starts to back it up, then it starts to slow down, and Toon tries to cover for it by walking toward the drone. Dude, come on. And this is the thing where they try to trap you into this one way of thinking, okay? And it was the same way as the red herring worked with the fucking obvious leaving the green screen chroma key thing on. You know, they wanted you to travel down the green screen route so they could honestly say that, no, we didn't use any kind of green screen. Did you use any kind of video manipulation whatsoever? That'd be the question right there. If you're looking for green screen and it's not there, you're not liable to look into the other possibilities that are there. And we found a lot. King Nico found shit. Everybody's been picking this apart. So I'm sorry, it was just bullshit, the whole thing around. The other thing that was suspect, that it was so important that they go this year, like there was some kind of a schedule. Like there was some kind of a schedule. And that's what I mean. I look at everything from the macro all the way down to the details, from the drone all the way out to the way this whole entire thing looks on its face. And then for somebody to say, oh, you're being mean. No, man, I'm being critical. I'm being very critical. Because I can't, it's just, come on. These guys know better than that, man. Think about it. And this idea of, oh, we're going to wait and you just wait and everything until, you know, all the data comes out and everything. What? It's already, what? So you got like weeks to fucking manipulate and edit and do whatever the hell else you got to do while we pick the other shit apart and you can correct those mistakes within the stuff that you put up. Dude, those other guys already put their shit out and it was fucked up. It was fucked up. Sorry. So what? You're going to have something different than what they had? How? If you're both in the same fucking place filming the same goddamn thing, how are you going to have anything different than what McKeegan has, what Toon has, or anything else? You ain't. So that's basically, you know, that's where I'm at with this, you know, and it's like, look, I ain't trying to throw anybody under the bus. I ain't saying anybody's this because I don't know what the fuck went down behind closed doors. The only thing we know is what we've seen on video and what has been told to us. But there's a lot of time that elapsed between those on-camera times. So we don't have any idea what the fuck actually happened, what was talked about, what was signed, what was figured. None of that. All I know is that this guy that set this thing up is a deceitful fucking salesman who is not as what he is trying to appear to be. And that's obvious to anybody with any kind of discernment whatsoever. You can see it, hopefully. And then people thinking that this guy's some kind of fucking great guy or whatever. I'm sorry, man. I can feel this. It just don't make no goddamn sense. Anyway, look at there, a Chicago Cubby Bear. What's
up?
Going on, Captain?
Long time fan, first time caller, Alex. Oh,
Well,
wait, it was the wrong show. I'm sorry.
No, you're at the right show.
Okay. Now, what's going on, man?
First time caller. I say that, I know that's. So what's on your mind, Cubby Bear?
Not much. I'm just catching up. I was eating dinner, so I'll fill in when you take a break there.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying, you know, this is I'm tired of the people trying to gaslight, and it's almost like there's veiled threats. I hear almost like veiled threats, like from Joe from Effed Up World. You know, it's almost like veiled threats. You guys are going to be real sorry about this. Your channels are going to suffer. Blah 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 blah. I don't give a fuck. I started out with 3 people watching me. I don't care. I don't care. I don't make nothing off this shit. All right. So it almost sounded like a veiled threat. You know, like, oh, you better be real careful. And it's like, no, you're trying to beat me into consensus. It's the same thing that the Globers do. Oh, look, you must be retarded. You think the earth is flat. Oh, you must be retarded because you saw this bullshit in the video. Yeah, well, if it was you who hadn't gone on the trip and you were presented with what we've been given, I'm sure 100% that they would be on top of that shit like a duck on a June bug. And that ain't no lie, man. That's just how it is.
Exactly.
So
exactly. I think Duffy accomplished everything he wanted to do on this. He's got.
I think it blew up in their face spectacularly.
Yeah, definitely. I just think he was out to create division and everything among the flat Earth community, and that's exactly what it's done, honestly.
Is it wheat from tares?
Yeah, true.
Okay, you know, I'm just looking at it. I'm like, wait a second, man. These people are keep trying to fucking gaslight me. You know, I mean, and I'm talking not just me, they're trying to gaslight others as well. They're trying to gaslight people. And if you don't buy the gaslighting, they want to ridicule you and call you a fucking retard and shit like that. And this is the thing. This is the carrot and the stick. Okay. It's the carrot and the stick. Go along with what I say, and you can be my friend, but when you don't, I'm going to hit you with this stick. I'm going to mock you and I'm going to ridicule you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you say all the time, Lucy pulling the football.
Yeah. So I'm, you know, and I don't care. You can ridicule, you can do whatever. Call me retard. I don't give a fuck what you want to do. That's your business. Right.
Yeah.
Your perception does not dictate my reality.
Yeah, definitely.
That's how it is, babe.
Yep.
So it's like, and you know, because like this is what when the Baltards do that, you know, will mock and ridicule you, blah blah blah, like that. And I'm like, you think you're a monkey on a spinning water ball? What the fuck would I care what you think?
Yeah.
You're crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're fighting tooth and nail to defend something that you have not even the slightest firsthand observation of. That's what's so fucking retarded about it. They were ready to fight tooth and nail that Casper the Ghost exists. You know, that's just so dumb. But anyway. So we got all kinds of shit going on. We and other stuff.
Doubt about it. Starting the year off with a bang, huh?
Yeah, man. Listen, man. We got death fog, and we got cyber trucks blowing up, and fucking lightning striking the Capitol building and the Eiffel Tower and the Washington Monument and all this other fucking bullshit. And I mentioned the death fog. Are we still doing drones? Do we still? Is that still
that
a
all
thing?
went away?
It's
See,
just
the
gone
new
now.
psyops in order, and now we got something else going to distract us away from all the rest of it.
Man, it's just like all this fucking bullshit. And what happened about Russia going to have nuclear war with us or something like that? That's all by the wayside now. And then I just saw they're trying to run that the morgues and the hospitals are overflowing in China because of all this fucking disease or some shit going around. And it's like, okay, this is
right,
dude, this is exactly the same time frame that it happened last time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Exactly. It's like they ran the drill in October. They did that in October of 2019 with the event 201. And then they had the bird flu summit in DC in October of 2024. Here we come at the tail end. We started hearing at the tail end and in the midst of December that there was, oh, look, human contact with the bird flu and this, that, and the other. I was like, first case reported in, here we go, right? Now I get hit with this. The people in China are overwhelmed with all the death and terrible shit that's happening to them. And okay, here we go. Here we go.
Timing never fails.
But here's the thing. Are people going to fall for it this time?
Sure they will.
You think?
Well, not everybody, not, the informed community, but I mean, outside of that, I mean, of course they will. They fall for it every time.
That's what people got to stop doing. I can't believe that people are unable to recognize patterns.
Yeah.
It's a natural ability for me. I can just observe patterns and, pick up shit that's going on just by looking at, okay, it's like I got one of them fucking string walls. You see where the detectives have in those movies with the pictures and the fucking notes and push pins and all that shit. And I got one of them fucking things always going on in my mind. I'm like looking at this. And
yeah. Well, just think about what's going on right now with the whole New Orleans psyop, the whole New Orleans, bombing thing, the terrorist thing. What did all the media come out and say? It nonstop. It's terrorist attack. It's a terrorist attack. But what happens any other time? That differentiates that from being a mass casualty event. Well, that's the media telling you it's one thing or the other.
Right.
this is a terrorist attack because the media said so. But if it was something else that they wanted you to believe, it would be a mass casualty event. Well, what's the difference? Lots of people died supposedly.
Well, supposedly in that thing in New Orleans, they found explosives in the truck.
Yeah, there's a lot of funny stories going on there.
Now this was interesting. I just
Like
and I'll show it here in a minute. There's Elon Musk put out a tweet because it was a Cybertruck, one of his cyber trucks that was used as a bomb outside of the Trump tower in Las Vegas. Now Trump wasn't there. He's down in Mar-a-Lago, but the symbolism behind it, okay? And then Musk tweeted out about this. It was the Cybertruck's the way it's constructed is what saved it from doing any damage. It directed the blast upwards.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shut the fuck up. That was an advertisement for that shit right there while getting propaganda to look, the deep state's trying to take out Trump.
Yeah. It also kind of felt like that whole United Healthcare CEO, like veiled threat thing going on there too, a little bit.
They've connected the guy in New Orleans, I guess, to ISIS.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Depends on what your definition is right?
Yeah. I just wanted to show everybody this real quick. This is one of the things. All right, so this is what I think about when I go to the ocean. This is why I don't like to go in the ocean. And I know I'd freak out if I was out. Like, you ever see where they show the Navy gives their guys time to swim? They'll like stop and they open the bay doors and they let the guys go out and swim in the ocean and shit.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
No.
Look at this. Yeah, no. Look, that shit scares the fucking piss out of me, man. That's just all there is to it. Here's why I don't want to be in the ocean.
I was about to say, I don't like sharks.
look, oh, that ain't all. Look, there's some freaky ass shit in there, man.
These elusive creatures have evolved in isolation, hidden within the depths and shaped by the immense pressures and eternal night of the deep sea. Each dive into these unknown waters brings the potential to encounter life forms so foreign they challenge everything we know about biology, offering glimpses into realms that seem almost otherworldly.
It looks straight up the mind, man. Yeah, no.
Well, I've always said that the real aliens are in the ocean, but I mean,
these elusive.
I mean, no.
It's like that movie Abyss. You remember that movie Abyss?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
It's a movie, but yeah.
Look here, it says this was from Ted Logan on X. He said they could never fake an alien invasion for the second coming. That's just crazy talk. And then he's got this video that accompanies it. I want to show this to you. I think this is from concert. Stop. This is like from a concert. I just want to put this into context of what they can do with cameras and what they can do with video. You know, just saying. Watch. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's kind of like that sphere thing or whatever.
Yeah, that's that sphere in Las Vegas.
Oh, that was it.
I think so, yeah. But man, I mean, did you see that one video out that they were showing how that show, The Mandalorian, is filmed?
Yeah, I didn't see it anywhere. I saw it on your show or somebody, maybe the lads. I can't remember where you guys were
It's
looking at it.
amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
And
it's
even
crazy.
the actors say, it's like realistic. You expect to be hit with water, at these ocean scenes and shit. You expect to get hit with water. That's how realistic it is. But yeah, that's some cool shit. But that's the new way of doing movies. Hell, I'm surprised that they're actually still even using actors.
Yeah, I know
You
exactly.
know, I think
CGI
that's probably due to that's probably due to like a union or something like that.
Yeah, most likely. What, didn't they have a strike or something that like last year?
Yeah, but it's so easy for them that they could just produce AI actors for films,
Sure.
and they're already. I think they already do that.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt it. Yeah, I've been listening to some music. That's originally why I got on YouTube, was listening to the music, but now it's all ads. But anyways, to listen to some music, and I was listening to this music the other day, and I was like, man, this is some of the best stuff I've heard in a while, because music lately is like. But anyway,
All right.
it was
Well,
AI. It turns out it was all AI generated music. And I'm like, oh goddamn, like.
Well, what we were taught with the whole thing tonight with symbolism over substance, and this is an important phrase, okay? When you see an event or even stuff people are doing, and you have to ask yourself how much of what's going on there is symbolism and how much of it is actual substance.
Sure.
Right? And a good example of that was, wearing the ritualistic shame muzzles, right?
Yeah.
All right. So how much substance was that? Did it prevent anything? Did it help anything? It was actually contrary to that to begin with. So what was it really? It was all symbolism.
Right.
It was all symbolism. And the symbolism was to enforce the idea that there's something really bad going on here. You see?
Yeah.
And also, other factors like masking your micro expressions that are a very big part of the way that we communicate in person. There are micro expressions that we do that indicate the tenor of what we're trying to convey.
Sure.
Yeah. So that was part of that. But I mean, there was the symbolism over the substance. Isolating yourself. That was symbolism over substance. The not having to wear a shame muzzle when you sit down at your table,
Right.
but having to wear one when you walk through. And it's like, that's just symbolic. What the hell? Do they think it just stays at a certain level? What if a guy came into the restaurant in a wheelchair? He's already sitting down. So how's that work? Right? Is he like below the level of the floating bug or whatever the fuck it is that's supposedly getting everybody? I mean, this is the thing when you have to really dissect that. What is symbolism over substance? And when they try to steer you toward the emotional aspect, the symbolism of something, you're very wary, because that usually means that there's very little substance to it. You see?
Yeah, well, those are the same people that can't decipher that'll fall for all of this poor shit that's gonna happen.
Well, that's like what I say with this whole thing with Duffy and the rest of them. I mean, it's like, where's the beef? And why is it, and now at this point, just given what we've seen, it doesn't matter what you put out now. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Because you're already compromised. You've already been compromised. And what? You've had 2 weeks now?
Right.
To edit and do whatever. Meanwhile, these other guys are just dancing around. They got their shit uploaded before the fucking airplane even lands,
Yeah.
It's just,
well, it's like you said. I mean, anything from when they're there live, it don't mean shit no more. Every day that passes is just another day to edit.
Yep.
But, Who knows? Who knows? I
So
mean,
they want to they try to take you into this binary type of thinking too, that it's either this or it's either that.
right.
Nobody ever considers the idea of a combination of things. Okay. So just to give you an idea, like when they filmed the movie Tremors, that was right around where I lived in California. Like my house was kind of smack dab in the whole filming location for that. Now, the scenes inside the store, inside of Burt Gummer's bunker, all that shit was all shot in Hollywood in a set. But it gave you the impression that it was still within the area where they had the town set.
Right.
And it wasn't. It was way over in Olancha, about 150 miles away from fucking Los Angeles. So that's where they had the town set up. Now that was right out behind my house, like about a mile up the road. We used to go up there. The roads are still there.
How far away is that from Barstow? Or do you know?
Oh, it's a good ways from Barstow.
Okay.
You ever heard of Olancha?
No.
What about Lone Pine?
No, I'm not super familiar. I've only been out to California a couple times.
Okay, because Lone Pine so in Olancha, right up back behind my house, that's where they had the set for the town. The roads are there. The sign for perfection is there. Okay. And they filmed all the outdoor scenes of the graboids and all that shit. They filmed all that together right up there. Those people were in actor trailers and stayed for a few days, and they filmed every scene that was going to require that set right up there. And then they did likewise. They went 35 miles up the road to the Alabama hills at the foot of Mount Whitney. Meanwhile, somebody else is filming B-roll footage up there, and God knows when they did it, any time of the year that they want to, because it always looks like this. And where the construction guys get eaten. Remember where the rock slide that came down into the road? Well, that's not a rock slide. That road goes around that boulder like that. That's Tuttle Creek Road. I used to go down that road every day. So that's Tuttle Creek Road. And you can film that B-roll footage anytime you want to. So anyway, it was all put together in a sequence that made it look like it was all in order. Okay? This is how movies are done. Some is in the set, some is in a sound stage, some of it is filmed outdoors on location, some of it is filmed, this is how these movies are done. Some of it is just B-roll footage put in with it to make it more realistic or, cohesive to the story.
Yeah.
So this is what you can't get trapped into. Well, was it this or was it that or was it? Yes. I think all of the above.
Yeah.
Now, that's just what I've got on that. And as I said, from what we've seen already, it doesn't matter what goes on. It's all compromised.
All what goes in the final cut that makes the
And look,
movie.
I don't hate nobody. I don't hate nobody.
Yeah.
All right. I really don't. I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm disappointed. And that's about all I can say on it. I'm disappointed. But I always had a gut feeling anyway. That trepidation.
Yeah. Well,
but I kept it where it should be. Kept it where it should be to, so I'm always watching. I still have
well, it's funny how everything leading up to this was all, Duffy was everywhere. He's going on every channel, talking to every person. All the attention's on Duffy. And now all of a sudden, all the attention's off Duffy, ironically. And now it's all amongst all the flat earthers, fucking this and that. And it's like, get the fuck out. The earth's still flat, people. The earth's still flat. That's all that fucking matters.
Mm-hmm. They, Duffy, like I said, was the salesman on this.
Oh, for sure. He didn't pay a dime for any of these fucking he didn't pay for any of this shit. He's a fucking guy he's like the president. They put him out there for all the season.
Well, and the thing is this too. He's
a salesman for ALE.
He's got a little bit. He's got some PR training.
Sure,
he's able to. Well, if you're going to be a preacher, is a salesman.
Right.
Okay. There's
And let's
the
not
only
forget he was
difference.
the producer of Bob Enyart too, right?
Right. But that's the whole
Before the
thing.
pastor.
If you really think about it, I don't mean it in a derogatory way, but a pastor or a reverend is essentially a salesman.
No,
It's
yeah,
just the only difference is the product.
sure.
Okay. And he's not bad at it, but
No, he's actually
I
very
think
good at it.
he overplays it. Okay. He overplays it. He's not a good actor.
Yeah.
He overplays it. And I would be able to, as a former salesman, I've done sales. I was good. It just, if you have to, it starts digging into your conscience because you'll do just about anything to sell the fucking
Make that
product.
sale.
That's what it is. You're always closing, and it's kind of dog eat dog.
Sure.
So when the pressure's on, you're really putting in the close. And the thing is, like what you do is you want to establish familiarity with the customer, with the mark. Okay. You want to establish familiarity, and you do that by incorporating your stories with family and friends and things like that you've done, and they'll voluntarily tell
get
you
to the heart
stories, and you can get information what they're about just by the little stories that they give and how they react to your stories. Okay. So you're always analyzing, but always closing, and you're getting them into an agreeable state of mind. You get them into this agreeable state of mind. You identify with them. You're their friend, even up to, it's like, hey, it would be all right if I just call you Bear. I mean, let's just cut through it. I'm not going to call you Mr. Chicago. Can I just call you Bear?
Right.
That kind of thing. And you get yourself, I'm Paul or I'm Dave or whatever. And you're getting in that familiarity. It's because you're trying to drive that person into the emotional aspect of it. One of the things I would do purposely, because a lot of times I was selling timeshares, right? And what they would do is you would be taking these people around in your vehicle. And usually I would have the husband sit up front next to me and the wife and possibly the kids in the back. And as I'm showing them these things like that, and I'm incorporating her into what's, the resort can offer and everything else like that, but I'm also directing it right to him. You're in charge, Paul. You're in charge. You are. And I got my pen out the whole time so it doesn't become a shock. I'm playing every psychological game there is in the book to win this guy over to be my friend, so that if I can use the emotional aspect of it. So when it gets down to it, then I tell him, I say, now, don't you think, and this is right in front of the wife and kids, and don't you think something like this, that your wife and kids are worth something like that, especially at this price? What's he going to do? Say no?
Right.
They're right there. No,
Yep.
he's not. He's going to agree with me. So even though I haven't closed him yet, I've got him to agree that he wants this. So it's a psychological game, and I've watched Duffy do it the whole time. The only problem is he has trouble keeping his stories straight.
Yeah. Do you think those guys signed NDAs down there?
I don't know. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I really would have. I would have liked to have been a fly on the wall. I would have liked to seen what in the world, what was going on.
Because NDA is a powerful tool.
But I don't know, and it doesn't really matter. The bottom line is what did I say? Right off, I said, it's not going to make the world turn into a freaking globe.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's only going to mean that there is some kind of an anomaly with the sun that we don't fully understand. And I'm not buying that that's a reflection of anything. Okay.
Yeah.
It would not behave that way. Yeah, you can get it to go that opposite way. That's not a problem. But it's the fact that it's a reflection and not actually the object itself. And you can tell the difference. That's just the way I see it in my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't know what the reflection would be off what the material is or anything. All I have to go by is like the Bible and things like that.
Yeah.
So I said there was either going to be an anomaly with the sun that we don't understand, or there is some fuckery afoot. And well, it seems so that we have found some fuckery afoot. So
for sure,
you know, it is what it is. Does that mean that automatically I'm just saying, oh, and this is where they steer it? Because it's obviously the sun goes into a football shape and then back out and all this other fucking nonsense, everything, all the little right?
Yeah.
And they want to steer it toward, oh, well, are you calling them a liar? Wait a second. I'm not. The evidence that's being presented is. There it is.
Right.
It's like a big fucking loaf of cow shit in the middle of the fucking living room. And you trying to tell me it's a coffee table. No.
And they still got the shit on the bottom of their boot and it's fucking smelling up the whole place.
So I'm sorry, man. It's just like, I'm sorry. I see a pile of shit there in the middle of the floor.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck who put it there or whose house it is. It just probably doesn't belong in the middle of the living room floor.
Right. I don't like the fact that they've just been on the defense this whole time since I've been back. And it's like, oh, just wait till the data comes out. Just wait till the data. You've had fucking everybody else put their data out and you're still fucking defending these anomalies, whether they're something to them or not. I think there's something to them, but whether or not, that's all you've been doing is playing the defense since you've been back. And it's like, put out your fucking so-called data and dispel all the rumors,
Right. Oh my God. I mean, and some of it is like, I don't know, because I after this, I think it's totally fucking irrelevant at this point. We know.
No, you're right.
And
it's pointless. There's too much time that's went by.
Yeah, it's enough. Yeah, it's enough.
Yeah.
Sorry, this blew up in your face. It wasn't real. No. And what does it tell me? If you had to fake anything, none of it was true.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's all. So it is as we had suspected, I believe. So,
yeah.
But either way, it doesn't really matter. I'm not going down there for any reason. Roger Ledwell is going to go down there. So
yeah, I mean,
bundle up, baby, because I can't stand the fucking cold at all.
Don't take your shirt off.
From what I seen, it didn't look like it was all that fucking cold, man.
Make sure you leave your vape at home.
Yeah, right.
Oh boy,
I got one here.
Up in space on the ISS. Jesus.
It was in a bag of chargers and stuff that had been there for a long time, and I don't vape anymore, but it just happened to be there, and
they had all this fucking time to prepare for whatever, your chargers, your fucking.
Or what's up now?
Yeah. Yeah. What's up?
That got me right there because that little haughty bullshit right there. No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They've been playing the defense. Like every time something came up, they had to address that certain thing that came up. It's like, why are you addressing all these things? Just film the sun, the 24-hour sun, film your data and put that out and dispel all rumors. No, we're going to address all these fucking other things and distract you from anything else and whatever. It's all fucking craziness, in my opinion. Sorry for all the F-bombs.
Oh, that's all right, man. No worries. As long as we don't get too bad with it,
Yeah.
All right. No, I'm sorry. This is just too much fucking bullshit. Here it was 11 hours ago. What are the chances that lightning strikes all 3 of these buildings on New Year's Eve?
Yeah, I just
the Empire State Building, the State Capitol Building, and the Washington Monument. Now, that's the U.S. Capitol Building. It's not the State Capitol Building. Hold on. Let me bring this up. This is fucking nuts. Is God trying to tell us something, or are they just trying to make it look like he is?
Yeah, I just saw a still shot, and I guess that's... It's almost like that was meant to harness energy sometime.
And also an electric car, an
Yeah.
electric Tesla blows up in front of Trump Tower. If
Oh,
anybody,
and that guy.
did you see that? It
Yeah.
looked like fireworks. It looked like, and they said there was fucking fireworks inside the car.
Well, the
Let me grab
attacker
this
from New
video.
Orleans had an electric car too. Supposedly truck, sorry.
And look at this, looks like a bunch of damn Roman candles going off. This is crazy.
I guess I hadn't seen. Oh, wow.
Now what? See them?
Yeah.
Copy. See all those little boom, 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 and they're colored too. Look.
Yeah, shrapnel.
So
Well,
they are
I
saying
mean-
that there was they are saying that there was fireworks inside the car.
Yeah.
It killed the guy, I guess.
Of course it did.
Yeah. Well, who says he was alive when it blew up? Right.
They all die.
It killed a driver, killed 7 others, injured. But here's the thing: it didn't fucking damage the windows, right? So hang on, let me pull this up.
Of the hotel.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So here's from inside the hotel. Check this out. See? That glass should be blown in.
From an explosion like that, you'd think.
Yeah, look at it. More shit going off in it. Yeah, hear the whistles?
Yeah, yeah. Happy New Year. What's that guy gonna do? That's like that cop that fucking walked in front of that lady burning in the subway the other. It's like,
dude,
Jesus.
What the fuck? That woman didn't even move.
I know.
She just
That was
stood
weird.
there.
I know. Just,
Dude,
yeah,
I
mean,
can't. I can't believe that was real. I can't. There is no way that a person could be on fire and they're just gonna stand there.
I mean, unless you, I mean, no.
No.
Unless she was in complete
she
shock.
wasn't a Buddhist monk. She
Yeah.
wasn't a fucking Buddhist monk.
Right. Yeah.
There's no way that somebody. That's why I was wondering. It's like that's a fucking mannequin or something, man.
That's the problem with society too. Like, what is the first thing everybody did when that happens? Like, oh, I'm gonna pull out my fucking cell phone and start video recording instead of helping the lady burn it.
Yeah.
It's like what
telling everybody else to call 911 or something.
Yeah, and then the cop just walks by like, oh, another day on the subway.
Look at this shit. See, it didn't. I don't know, man. And listen, I saw a video where a guy was doing comparison of abilities between I think it was a Chevy 4-wheel drive pickup truck and that Cybertruck.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, the fucking hitch pulled off the frame when he tried to tow a goddamn trailer.
Whatever happened?
The thing's not built very well at all.
Whatever happened to the Rivian? The Rivian. You remember that was the first EV truck that came out, and it was going to be like comparative to the Tesla. Yeah, it can turn a 360 anyway. And then the Rivian plant, which ain't too terribly far away from where I live, there was an explosion there not that long ago. After everything started going downhill at that plant, when that production started, when the EVs started to like, I just heard a boom, kind of die away.
So yeah, there's other people finding weird shit in the air too. These people found
yeah, I heard
these
about those
critters in their fucking dog bowl after this fog. Look at the outside. That's why my dogs, I keep their shit inside, man. Look at this.
Yummy.
And I think there's a video on here showing these things under a fucking microscope or something too, and they were like mating. Man, I don't know.
What the fuck are we looking at?
Well, I hope he empties the bowl out before his pet drink soda.
And dog comes up there and just blah, 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 and starts going, get out of here, Spot. Yeah, I think there's a video on here. Hang on this thread that's showing them under a microscope or something. Yeah. So this guy collected a sample. This is from the same guy, XRP Preacher. He says, I collected a sample using tape that they are now escaping from, and this is what I seen under magnification, like they're mating or something. So hang on. This is fucking nuts. What in God's name are those things? Look at that.
Well, it looks like a termite or something.
They do, don't they?
The hairs on the back.
Mm-hmm.
The third one's backing his booty up into it. What the fuck is going on?
So I don't know, man. And they say that was after that death fog came through.
Honey, time to get a new water filter.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. There's some crazy shit. Wait, what was this too? Oh, about the calendar. Yeah, this is interesting. I'm going to show you that here in a few minutes too. Oh, what's this one on? Okay, that was a Terry Eicher thing. Okay, so this is pretty crazy. I'm going to show part of this. I don't know if you've ever heard of TPV Sean on
Oh yeah.
On X.
The People's Voice.
Yeah, the People's Voice.
Yeah.
This is pretty good. He's I'm going to read this to you real quick. Well, here, I'll just pull it up on screen. Maybe y'all can see it. I don't know if you can or not. All right. Oh, look, there's Dave Sims. What's up, Dave Sims?
Tob, what up, man?
What's going on, brother?
Yo, Happy New Year.
Yeah, man. 2025. Well, actually, if we go by the Gregorian calendar, of course, we're going to get into a little bit of that here tonight, too. So what's on your mind tonight, bro?
I was going to just talk about the final experiment just a little bit. I don't know if were you guys off that or
no, go ahead. I can come back to this. Look, nobody had death fog on their bingo card, man. That was a wild card. I mean, would have never thought about death fog, but now we have death fog.
Well, what I thought was weird, I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think of this? Because I know in the community now, people keep saying, okay, that they faked it, or that it's, you know, that the whole thing, or that here's what doesn't make sense to me, because everyone keeps saying now, okay, the 24-hour sun doesn't matter anyways. But in the same breath, this community is saying that they faked it. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's like, you know, you can't have both. I mean, it's like,
yeah, you can.
Okay, in what way?
Okay, so this was a film production. Okay, we don't know if they saw any fucking thing.
Okay.
So where are we at with it? We are in the same place we were before this stupid clown show ever came on the scene, aren't we? We're relegated to somebody else's testimony, questionable video. Okay, the same place we were before.
But I guess what I'm saying is, okay, so what part of it are we saying that they faked? I mean, this is what I'm confused by, because to me it's like, okay, if they're down there in Punta Arenas, or however you pronounce it, and they see the sun is south of them, and that's verifiable, and then they hop on a plane to go to, okay, even if, let's say, they didn't go to Antarctica, they're flying somewhere where you could see the sun up in the sky the whole time. They land. Like, at what point is this going to be fakeable? Or like, at what point, or what part are they going into the sphere or whatever that's going to make it look like they're faking it? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. At what point would that transition take place, where it's real, and then fake? You know,
it could be done in any order. All of this could have been put together in any order they wanted to, and all they had to do is their supposed live stream from within some kind of a studio. Look, the lighting is fucking wrong. Okay, I'm sorry. The apologeticists can take that shit that they've tried to put out there and stick it up their ass. I'm surprised they didn't just go ahead and Kubrick tune with his little rant, because he fucked it all up. Your shadow ain't going to grow and shrink like that as you walk to and from the sun. It's not. I'm sorry. The angle distance wasn't enough to account for that. I'm sorry. Not for it to be perspective. I've got way too much experience with lighting.
Well, I'm saying sometimes what you've seen on a phone. I mean, because whoever was filming that was taking it just with their phone, right? I mean, so when you're going and you see a shadow and you're in front of somebody and then you move to the side, the shadow does appear to look different. You know, I mean,
I've done no, I'm not talking about appearing to look different. It's not going to change location. It's not going to grow or shrink in size. It's going to stay the same size relative to the object casting it, which of course is going to be dependent upon the distance to the light source. A local light source will produce the effect that we saw. And I'm not talking about local like our sun. I'm talking about local like a studio.
Okay. Well, okay. So walk me through then. Okay. Again, though, but because Sam, in one sense, you're saying the 24-hour sun doesn't matter, right?
I'm saying if there is a 24-hour sun, that means that there is some anomaly with the sun that we don't fully understand. However, what we saw as claimed as an observation of a 24-hour sun was questionable at best. The sun shrinking into a fucking football shape, and then what caused that? Refractogravillax, and then going back out to a ball shape. Listen, there's just too much with it. The amount of time compression with the amount of video that was produced within that time frame, that's been analyzed. It's not 24 hours.
I'm with you on some of this stuff for sure.
So look, do you agree that if any of it is fake, that means the rest of it's just garbage?
Yeah, I mean, if anything is fake, yeah, it puts things in question for sure.
But
okay, but I guess what
look. If I've got a witness on the witness stand in the courtroom, okay, and I catch him lying about any portion of his testimony, that will totally destroy the rest of his testimony due to his credibility.
Fair enough. Okay.
There it is.
Okay.
What we're looking at is as serious as a man on death row, and you're in the jury. Proof
12 Angry Men, like we talked about.
Reasonable doubt. Proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And we have a lot of reasonable doubt.
Okay, but again, if we just walk through this logically, though, okay, and I get what you're saying. I mean, again, if this was in a courtroom and this and that, and yeah, once, okay, we caught them lying about something. But listen, let's say Austin with the whole vape thing, okay? To me, it could be something as simple as, okay, he told his wife that he quit vaping a while ago. She thinks that he quit. He doesn't want to expose to the world that he lied to her. And so he's like, no, I didn't vape. You know, I mean, it could be something as stupid as that. You know what I mean? Like,
still dishonest.
That's not.
And that's even worse dishonesty, because that's to his wife.
That sounds like a kid, man.
Come on.
I get, but you know what it's like, okay, to be married. Like sometimes it's like, okay, you don't want your wife to know that you stopped at the bar after work or something. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just don't want your wife to know. It's a stupid little white lie. But I'm just saying, sometimes it's like, okay, I don't want it to cause a big fight. So, okay, I'm just, you know, yeah, honey, I quit vaping. But in the meantime, he's like vaping every once in a while. And it's one of these things where she might just be like pissed at him if she knows that he vapes. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's listen. Okay. I'm not saying that that's it for sure, but what I am saying, again, it seems that that this community is kind of playing both sides of the fence here, where it's like,
If you're gonna go with that, then what other secrets do you hide?
No, I mean, look, it's real simple right here. It comes down to this. I have to look at what's been presented,
I'm
right?
scared, Dad.
Do you trust me, son?
Yes.
Come on, son. Rule number 1, never trust anybody.
Okay? So, let all men be liars. All right? Just because, oh, I like this person's personality, or I watched this guy's show, or whatever the fuck else. Okay? Be very wary of the perception deception. And what I mean by that, you know what I mean? And I'll tell you, the thing that got me is like when I went to Flattoberfest, right? It kind of freaked me out at first because I'd have people come up to me very familiarly, you know, like, hey, how you doing? And give me a hug. And I'm like, great. Who the fuck are you? You know, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, who is this? And I have to realize it's like, okay, I don't see you, but you see me. And so you recognize me. And because of that, and because you identify with the way that I guess that I present things or whatever, you have a familiarity with me. You feel a familiarity with me. But you have to be very discerning with that. I mean, let's take a look at some of the things that's happened recently here in Hollywood. And not here in Hollywood, but I mean here in the United States and Hollywood and in Washington, D.C. There have been very, very dignified, supposed and looked up to characters that have been exposed to be really rat shit, filthy people. I mean, this is not new. You go back, you get a Speaker of the House, Dennis Hassert.
Yeah.
All right. We go all the way up to the people involved with P. Diddy and this OTO style blood sex magic bullshit that they pull, you know, and right under everybody's nose. And once that starts to come out, you go, oh my God. That person, you know, wow, I liked every character that I ever saw him. I thought he'd be a cool dude, but he's a real douche canoe. You know, that's what comes about from it. And you have to be real careful. Now, I'm not saying that's the case with any of these people. What I'm saying is you have to look at the fruits of their endeavors, the fruits of the tree. And the fruits that we got were rotten. That so far has been rotten. Now, as far as like the excuses for the vape, it's like, look, I'd even be willing to give the benefit of the doubt. You just wanted to shut everybody up about seeing your breath and shit, so you went ahead and you fucking did a vape to shut them up. Okay? I'm sorry I did that. It was dishonest, but the best way to do it would have been going, I don't know why you can't see my breath. It's probably a humidity temperature factor, something to look into. And go with it. Go with it. There it is. Boom. Okay? I don't know why you can't see my breath. It is really kind of weird. Maybe it has to do with the temperature and the humidity or something like that. But then to turn around and then fake that and come back for any reason, why? Why? That's just fucking stupid.
It is bizarre. I mean, I'll give you that. It's definitely weird.
And this thing about going to sleep because you're tired. What the fuck were these other characters jacked up on?
It's like a marathon runner. They train all year and then they get to the race and then all of a sudden I'm tired. I can't do it. Like,
well, I mean, how did McKeegan and Toon and the rest of these fucking clowns, what were they jacked up on? Maybe you should have had some of that or whatever. What the fuck is this? I'm tired and I'm going to go take a nap.
Well, what I was going to say with Jaron and Austin, again, just because they were good at articulating things via YouTube over the past 10 years, it doesn't make
explorers, right? Yeah.
Right, exactly. And it doesn't make them the guys that are capable of doing actual scientific experiments very well, you know.
Okay, then that has to bring us down to why were they chosen?
Right.
I think they were.
Go ahead.
Go on. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I think they were chosen because, they were the voice for the community for so many years, you know. So again, I think if this was a job interview of who's the best scientist, if it came down to that, Austin and Jaron would not be on the panel, you know, because they were, I mean, again, this was part of the whole personality. So this was part of the whole show. That's why I view Will Duffy, him as a character for the show. I find the whole thing entertaining, you know. But the fact is, he had to have other entertainment, you know, characters, to the entertaining characters, to be part of the show to make it entertaining. And I think
Well,
that even they did casting, even to bring that Lizbeth on or whatever. This is like a casting, you know, they're casting for a show here. It seemed like, you know, rather than doing an actual scientific experiment. But again, did I find the whole thing
it
entertaining?
was.
Yes.
That's what it was. Look, it's gonna be a fucking movie. It's gonna be a thing. All right,
Yeah.
they've already made no bones about that. It's gonna be a movie thing. Okay, the whole psyop really is not for us. Nobody gives a fuck what we say, really. Okay, what it was is for Joe Blow out there who might have been hearing some shit about flat Earth and stuff. And he picks up his paper and he goes, oh, ha, look at there. Yeah, it was like the pet rock or something. And then goes on. Boom. That's what it's designed to do. Now, within this community, it blew up in their fucking face. They really sacrificed it. You've heard about sacrificing a valuable piece on the board to achieve your goal. Well, baby, we're talking about, they think they sacrificed a couple of pieces on the board to make their point for that greater whole.
Well, what if this whole thing was...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, what if this whole thing was a setup from the beginning with Eric Dubay? Because Eric Dubay was the one that brought on this AE map from the Gleason's map from the very beginning. And a lot of us were, when I remember early on, I would always tell people, oh, the sun actually works like this, and it's doing concentric circles around the North Pole, and it shifts from the Tropic of Cancer to the Tropic of Capricorn, and then it changes speeds. And like, again, we had to sort of make excuses for things right off the bat, but that was sort of the model that we all did present to people as a way of explaining, well, how else would it be? You know, because we were all told, I mean, how do we transition from it being a ball that we've been indoctrinated with from the very beginning to something else? We couldn't fathom it without having something that would explain it in another way.
Well, easy. So, you know what I've always said like this, okay? Are you familiar with the 33 and a third RPM LP? You put it on.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. Yep.
33 and 1/3 rotations per minute. And you start out from the edge of the record and it starts going all the way into the middle.
Right.
Still doing 33 and a third rotations per minute. Now,
yeah, but the outer part has to go much faster. Right.
But the music never slows down or speeds up. It remains constant throughout the entire thing, doesn't it?
Right. But okay. I'm with you, but okay. So, but what I was going to say to the whole point of what if this whole thing was a setup from the beginning? Because right during that time, geocentrism was being talked about, and that was starting to gain some ground. So Eric Dubay comes in, he brings up this whole flat Earth thing. Even his book, I mean, I always found it weird that he called the book The Flat Earth Conspiracy. Because it's almost like, well, wouldn't you call it the globe conspiracy, or wouldn't you call it the heliocentric conspiracy? Why are you calling it the flat Earth conspiracy? It's like one of those things where it's like hidden in plain sight that he's presenting a conspiracy to us as the community, and we took it in because all of us were open-minded and we're like, okay, I'll take a look at this. And the more information we heard, we're like, wow, that sounds interesting. And I remember just trying to present any of this information to anybody. They'd be like, oh, Dave, I'm not going to listen to it, because most people don't want to take the time to think of anything, or to just think about anything critically whatsoever. And we did. Our community is the type of community that does like to think things out. But I guess what I'm saying is this whole thing with it could have been a setup from the beginning. And again, I was doing the observations and experiments 7-8 years ago, presenting it to David Weiss and others, showing, hey, the sun's not operating how you say it is, based on, you know, shrinking into a dot or sitting at the horizon line for long periods of time, like you said it was doing. And so there was a lot of stuff that I found suspicious right from the very beginning. So I guess to wrap it all up, what I'm trying to say is, this experiment, or whatever, the final experiment, to me, to call it, for us to play both sides of it and say, oh, they faked it, or that, you know, that it doesn't matter, now it's sort of just like, okay, it does look a little wish-washy on our side, and I don't think that, as Will Duffy would say, I don't think it's a good look, but whatever,
Right. Well, I'll tell you, I'm not worried about how I look. Okay, because I think I look fine. I think that everything that I brought into question is just fine. And as I said before, had it been someone other than Jaron and Whitsitt that went on this expedition, they would be doing the exact same analysis that we've been doing so far, wouldn't they? Goddamn well they would.
Well, that's what I find ironic, because Jaron used to be one. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go on.
So I want everybody to remember this little line right here, okay? Don't get caught in the trap of the map. There are no accurate world maps, not at least that you have any access to, nor will you ever have any access to. First thing you have to understand is, where do maps come from? From people called cartographers. Who pays these cartographers? And then how do they get their maps published? Once you start looking into that, you're going to understand where the fuckery begins.
I would even take it a step further, that not only are there not only any accurate maps, there's no accurate models, period.
No,
the globe model, I mean, it's a joke. You can't model it,
No. And this is the thing. You got to get out of models. And first off, in order to have a model, you have to first have a map. And we really don't have an accurate map because they have to use the prescribed globe coordinates in order to put out the map. And if it doesn't go along with that, it's not published. Now, none of us are cartographers, and it's very unlikely that any of us are going to find any kind of benefactors that are going to allow any of us to become cartographers and go out and map the entire world. So don't get trapped in the map. I believe the world is much bigger than we've been told. And that's another clever way to hide land right in plain sight.
And I would just say that the flat earth community needs to stick together. I mean, all the big players and everything, it just comes down to the foot soldiers that do the groundwork. All the people, the low level people do the real digging and the real, searching for that information. These people that they put out there in front of us, the Eric Dubays, the Whitsits, the whatever, who cares? Who cares about them? I mean, they can apologize or not apologize. I don't give a shit.
Well,
like you said,
don't get caught up in fucking numbers either. Yeah, but this guy's got so many fucking subscribers and this guy gets so many fucking views. And I've seen that, stop. Yeah. Take what's the information.
Correct.
Get off of that. If you're going to be objective at all, that's the only way that you're going to be able to actually do it, is to be objective with the information that has been provided. Now, I'm in agreement that it just looks worse and worse the longer that it is before they are, to the point where I'm not even fucking interested at this point in anything they've got. What's it going to be different than what the fuck they've already put out?
Yeah, exactly.
If it is, then we got a problem.
But again, okay, but going back to the whole point I had in the beginning. So if on one hand we're saying they faked it, and then on the other hand we're saying that the 24-hour sun doesn't matter. I mean, how can we have it both ways?
Well,
I mean,
why would the 24-hour sun dictate the shape of where you're sitting?
Well, I guess what I'm saying, it dictates the way that we perceive the Gleason's model.
Well, again, that's what I said. Don't get trapped in the map.
Yeah, it's easy to say now, though. But what I'm saying,
that's the best explanation, and I think the reason now this would be one of the biggest telltale signs. Now, we're just going to take it into another theater real quick, and I'm going to say, why do you figure that NASA would fake people being on the moon? What would be the biggest reason for them to fake it? Because they didn't fucking go, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
All
There's a
right.
lot of reasons, but yeah. Right.
So,
But
do we
there's
see the
underlying
separate-
reasons behind. But it's beyond that though. There's underlying reasons. It's beyond that they didn't go. It's because number one, they couldn't go. I mean, if you know, number two, I mean, there's I mean, we could go into the whole.
Doesn't
I mean,
matter
even if
the
we want to
reason
play.
why, they either fucking went or they didn't, right?
Right, but I don't think this apply. I don't think that type of logic applies to this thing the
Why?
same way.
Why?
Well, because okay, the moon might not be a place anyone is even capable of going to.
Wait a second.
Antarctica is.
Well, okay. All right, so it is.
So
Yeah.
okay, so
And
people do go to Antarctica,
Yeah,
and people
okay.
actually, I mean, so it's not like this is like some unattainable place
right.
like the moon,
Yeah.
No. So that's what I'm saying. There's a that's the key difference there. People
Okay.
do go there, and people live there, and people
Right.
actually, have gone there for a long time. So, I mean, to say that like they faked it it's kind of, to me, it looks like a ridiculous cop-out statement. It's almost
how
like,
do you how do you reconcile that drone anomaly with the fucking proximity sensor? You can't tell me that was Tune. You can't tell me that was Tune. Tune started to walk up on it after it started beeping rapidly as it got off in the distance. That was an attempt to cover for the beeping. But if you listen to it and you have discernment, you can tell. It was getting close to a screen or something. I'm sorry, that's all.
Okay, but hold on, stop. So you think just because a drone is beeping more than it should have, so now we're going to the extreme of saying that, they were in a dome-like sphere like in Las
What else
Vegas?
would cause a proximity sensor to start beeping rapidly when nothing is within proximity of it, or so it appears?
You could probably come up with 100 different things. Like
Sure.
to claim that they built a dome-like sphere there to fake it, I think it's going a
Wait,
little extreme.
why would they have to do it there?
Well, but stop. You're logical. I mean, do you think
couldn't they film that shit in a totally different time frame?
Exactly.
They could have,
Hey,
but
can I get
again,
your
I mean,
perspective
I'm
real
saying,
quick, Sal?
when
Can I get your
go on.
perspective real quick on something?
Yeah, go on.
All right. Now, this is him standing where he's horizontal with the sun. Well, parallel, I guess you would say. Right?
Yeah.
You say he's flat out. Okay. So this is when he's standing parallel again. Long, skinny shadow. You can see his head.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's standing facing it. And his hand is on his glasses. His hand is on his glasses. I've got several of these. I went by every frame. And there's no hand on his shadow. None. He is facing the sun. His legs is open. There's no hand on his head. Not only that one. Here's another one. He's facing the sun. Hand is nowhere on his head. Right here you can see. It should be showing right there, but I've got better ones. Here's another one. Right? Standing facing the sun. No head on his hand. None. I mean, you should see he's touching his glasses, y'all. I don't know, I got several more. None. Nothing's touching his head right there. That should be in plain sight. Here's another one. His hand is on his glasses. Right here. That should be an opening. You should see his hand touching his head right there in plain sight. It should be right there. This is about perspective. We all know about perspective. You just saw the reference frame I just showed you in a parallel. It would have been a long shadow. When he's facing the sun, this is inaccurate. I know that. I'm an artist as well. This one as well. There should be an eye shape in the shadow. It's not straight. There's nothing touching his head. You can't see one hand on his head. You should see a hand on his head. There's his head, folks. That's his head. Where's his hand? Which is touching his hand. Bottom line is this hasn't been found. I'm sure this one's, look at this one. He's touching his glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Where's it at? Where's his hand
Well,
on
you
his
know,
head?
another one that, and it's like you say. See, this is the whole thing. It's like, oh well,
He's
just
flat out.
because this drone beeped, just because this. Wait, it's all of it together. It's all of it together that goes, okay, something's fucked up here. Okay, it's all of it together that makes it
Yeah.
just look bad.
The one with the shadow, dude. Look at this. I mean, okay, here, look at me. You see the shadow behind me right now?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm saying it depends where the light's coming from. If I put my a hand on my
I know.
head right now,
I gave you a reference
I'm
frame
just
to
saying,
go from. Let me do it again. Just you didn't catch it evidently.
you know,
Hold on 1 second. I'll give you a reference frame. You need a reference frame? Is that what you want? Hold on 1
well, I
second.
guess what I'm saying is, I mean,
Okay, here's
there's
your
a
reference.
million videos. Just because we capture one still frame
Right.
of something that looks to be,
There's
I
a
don't
thing
know.
with science, Dave. It's called controlled variables. This is what you call a controlled variable. When you stand facing the sun with your shoulder directly to the sun and make a parallel line with the sun's vector, that's called one controlled variable. Now,
You know,
this is
another
a second one. He's standing with his arms closed, and you can still see it's a long gated shadow. Now, this one, he is
You're calling
facing
these two
the sun.
screenshots controlled variables? I think that's a stretch.
No, just as a observational control variable where he was in this reference frame, right in the same reference frame. If you want to say it, I'm in my lab in the lab frame now. I'm showing this one. He is facing the sun, directly facing the sun, and there's nothing on his head. He's touching his head. Okay, he's touching his head, y'all, and there is no hand on his head. Nothing there. That's inaccurate. That does not add up.
So are
Okay.
you suggesting that they computer generated a shadow?
I don't know, but
I don't think so. No, I think that the arm may be a little bit in front of him like that.
Probably.
Okay. The damning thing to me was, look, okay, the shortening and lengthening of the shadows when Toon's marching around yelling into his phone.
Oh, no.
That's one. The drone beeping. That's two. The having to fake the breath. That's three. The flimsy ass cheap Walmart fucking jacket that this guy is wearing in this supposed sub-zero fucking weather. That's another suspect thing. And it's not even zipped up.
Where's all the runny noses and the freaking red
look,
faces?
there's just all these little fucking details. The devil is always in the details. And I'm sorry, man. If you had to, and what does this tell me? This tells me that they did not see a 24-hour sun. They faked it, or, however they did to do it, because obviously when there's deception, then I'm sorry, I can't buy into anything else that you've been saying.
Well, can we logically play it out then? So how would, all the people that go down to Antarctica that are in this Antarctic race and all this stuff that, that's going on.
That's a phone.
Say it again.
That's a phone.
Where the fuck were they?
That's a phone. That's a what?
Where was all the runners? Where's all the marathon people?
What I'm saying, don't you think people are there right now?
I don't know. How the fuck would I know?
Well, what I'm saying is we could literally send someone there right now. I mean,
Go ahead. Send somebody down there and get them to check. I'll wait.
Okay, but here's the thing. We send somebody, it's going to be the exact same thing. Well, that guy faked it then too. He's part of the whole thing with Jaron and Whitsitt. You know what I'm saying?
We already got somebody going. We already got somebody going next year.
Well, wait, why next year? We got the 24-hour sun going for the next 2 months.
Yeah, by the time he raises up the money, it's going to be past that. No, he's going to go down the same time frame.
I think we can raise the money shortly, if needed, to get someone to go out there. Let's
We've
say within the next month.
We've already passed that period of time, though.
Why? What do you mean?
But what you think that you can raise up $35,000 to send somebody down to this fucking place in just a matter of a couple of weeks?
I say $35,000. I mean, yeah, to us it seems like a lot, but I'm saying there's of all the people, Kyrie Irving makes $35,000 a minute. He plays basketball. I'm saying,
But
you know,
it's
that's
all
Kyrie
relative.
Irving.
Oh, we're talking about reality. We're talking
well, what I'm
about
saying, that is reality. He's a flat
crowdfunding
earth
on
guy.
YouTube.
It ain't,
Crowdfunding on YouTube.
it ain't just the
Okay.
ticket price either. You're gonna have to have the equipment, the stuff to take with you. It ain't just
I got
buy
you,
a ticket and go to Antarctica.
but didn't we just
But
have
hey,
people?
hold on. Why not just go ahead and just repeat the observation next year? We got a guy willing. He's getting them funds together. He's got a whole year. He's got a whole year, right?
I'm fine with that.
All right, cool.
No,
Then.
I think that's great. But I mean,
Cool.
the whole thing is, but then it's another year of speculation, another year of,
Well,
this didn't happen, this is all this stuff and all this nonsense.
Maybe
why not
then
get it done
Roger will
sooner
be
than
the man. Maybe Roger will be the man to vindicate everything.
But I guess what I'm saying, I'm the guy that, like, if something doesn't look right, let's go out immediately and take care of it. Like I said early on in the flat earth stuff, when there was videos of the guy walking across the football field and all of a sudden his feet disappeared, and I'm like,
All right,
wow,
well, let me ask you something, Dave. What would be stopping you from going right now? If somebody said, "Here's a ticket, pack your bags, you're fucking going," what would be stopping you? What would be stopping you from doing that?
There's a lot of things in my job, my family. I mean, a lot of stuff. You know what I mean?
So yeah, all right. So now let's just put that whole fucking thing out there to everybody. Cubby Bear, what would be stopping you from going if somebody gave you a ticket right the fuck now? Go. What would be stopping you?
I would need to prepare for this trip. I'd need, I don't know. I mean,
right?
Buy the equipment, get the gear.
Right. Yeah, I think everybody would probably be in that same situation, Dave. So yeah, so what is actually going on? Okay, and hopefully Roger can raise the money. Go over to Roger Ledwell's YouTube channel, and he's got his PayPal set up over there. If one of my mods can get that and put it in the chat, that would be great. He's getting a full year to prepare to go, right? And he'll be able to have this stuff, and who knows, if he sees the same thing as they say they saw next year at the same time, then that's just going to add more credibility to it, right?
Now is Roger planning on like doing a live feed or anything?
Yeah, he said definitely.
So there you go, right there. I mean, you're going to need the equipment to do that. I mean, because we all know the cold drains batteries so fast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So much so that you want to put them inside of a boot and set them outside under a table.
Yeah. I tell you what, why don't we find somebody that's going on one of the trips right now, and we don't have to raise $35,000. We could probably raise $5,000 for somebody that's going on one of those marathon trips right now. Here's $5,000. Put this 24-hour feed there.
See if you can get a hold of anybody. Go ahead. And
let's try to do it.
Say we're going to do it. All right, go ahead. If you got the resources and the manpower, want to go and find somebody to do that with, go ahead.
Not to mention, if you have a job, you just drop your job. I mean, not everybody.
Look, we just went through an entire fucking 6-month PSYOP operation for people to go ahead and do that for us, right? Right? And what did we get? Bupkis, bud. That's what we got.
We're in the same position. I agree. I do agree with you. We're in the same position we were prior to the trip ever even happening. We still have no continuous unedited live feed of a 24-hour sun, which was the point. That is the only thing that anybody has been looking for, right? That's the only thing anyone has been looking for when it comes to Antarctica regarding the sun. The whole reason that Duffy thought this would work was, everybody wants to see a 24-hour sun, right? So we're going to go down there. This is what they originally sold us. We're going to go down there and we are going to live stream the 24-hour sun. So you guys can see that there is a 24-hour sun. Not that we're going to go down there and trust me, bro, these guys and the stuff I've been uncovering. Right. First of all, good evening, everyone, by the way.
Hi, Ryan.
Yeah. First of all, good evening. And
good evening.
Too much stuff going on to let a petty squabble with my dad. It's my dad, after all. So we'll bury that. But we
New year, new you.
Yeah, new year. Yeah, there you go. So, but here's the thing. And so we were sold that we're going to go down and show you a 24-hour sun. Right, we're going to show you this. It wasn't. We're going to send the two most trusted flat earthers to vouch for us. Right. which they're not even, by the way. Jaron is not even trusted by most of the community, honestly. Like that's a fact, right? And then on top of that, when you look into the background of these people, so you have, and I just did a video on it, and then I didn't really even get all the way into the stuff I found after. I was going to do a third, but I guess I'll, share some of the stuff now. The people behind this, right? So Will Duffy is part of a psychological operations group over in the Denver area. And I know this, and he inherited it from his mentor, Bob Enyart, who was the pastor of Denver Bible Church, which, Duffy basically inherited that whole. His co-pastor is Bryant Enyart Jr., which is Bob Enyart's nephew. Bob Enyart has been accused of being a part of the murder of John Benet Ramsey. But more importantly, you see his psychological operations records and all the stuff he did in the anti-abortion or the anti-abortion psyop that they were doing during the Obama administration, when you had attacks on Planned Parenthood. You even had somebody come on the news that said they could buy stuff from Planned Parenthood. We're not going to get onto that because we're on YouTube, but and that, how do you get that number? How do you just contact somebody to buy stuff from Planned Parenthood? And we know what stuff I'm talking about here, right? So, and then he says dinosaurs are fake. He gets arrested. He's got this criminal record. So they built up this villain, this neocon, far right-wing villain, and then they used him. But all the while that he's getting locked up and he's saying all this crazy shit, he still maintains a huge media presence in the Denver area on one of the largest radio stations, right? So we're not going to really focus on Enyart. I did that on the first one. What we're going to do is we're going to fast forward to who helped last minute promote this thing for Duffy. Candace fucking Owens, right? So,
hey,
and
it was her feed, Ryan. Okay, it was on her feed on Rumble that they were running the 24-hour live feed of the Sun.
I did not know
watching it, and when then I got tired, I said, "Okay, I'm going to go to bed," and I let it play out. And I thought, "Okay, cool. I'll watch this tomorrow morning, and I'll turn it up like 5 times speed so I can really watch it fast. See what it does." And I got up the next day. I hit play, nothing happened. So I hit refresh on the browser. It come up, error 404, page not found. I mean, what the fuck? And their excuse was that the internet went down, that Starlink went down. Well, it doesn't matter. It's like I've said about a dozen times now. Right now, if my internet goes out, everything that we've got going on right now will still be on YouTube and still be on Rumble.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It wouldn't remove it off of the thing. So why was it removed? So Starlink didn't go down. Something was seen that they didn't want us to see, and they fucking pulled the video.
Well, did you see? Well, hold on. Let me go back to Enyart for a second. I do want to get to that. So if I get off track, remind me, because I have a tendency to do that when I don't. Lately, I've been doing show notes for my shows, so I don't get off on a rabbit hole tangent. And it's worked. But I want to get back to Enyart. The last thing with Enyart real quick, and then I'm going to move on to Candace, is that actually what is evidentiary of that chat. So I don't know if you guys know this, but Will Duffy's best friend and mentor has a organization called Shadow Gov, where they literally plan to overthrow and take over the government. Okay? No bullshit. Look it up, shadowgov.com. Look it up. Right.
Wait, Will Duffy he's a founder of that organization? Is that what you're saying?
No, his best friend and mentor is the founder of that organization. Okay. And this organization's talking about carrying out clandestine fucking domestic terrorist operations, which of course is Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution, which is why I know that these guys are intelligence operation, right? They're assets. They're not intelligence themselves. They're assets that were handpicked. You know what I mean? During, we'll get into that, right?
You're talking about Enyart, right?
I'm talking about Enyart and Duffy. I'm talking about the whole group. Right. And so they're pulled into media, as usual. Hollywood has an aspect of this, which is where Candace Owens comes in. But the very last thing that I've discovered about Enyart before I shifted my focus to Duffy and Candace and all them is that his very last dying contribution to the psychological operations game, right, was the COOF, right? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? And so what's interesting about that is during the coup, his church fought against closing down, which would, not standard, right? But they ended up reaching a decision in this Denver Bible Church v. Azar case, which, if you guys know me, my thing's the law. So, of course, I picked this up, and this is where I go. And so it's a Denver Bible Church v. Azar case that you have no access to at all. But what was struck there was a compromise between what they were trying to pull. Oh, there you go. that's on your, that's Duffy's best friend and mentor, his site, right? Anyways, so the Denver Bible Church v. Azar case you cannot find, but what you can find is over 1,000. Actually, I think it might be in the 5 digits instead of 4 digits, if I remember correctly. It's on my last show I did, but there's thousands of cases that purely either cite Denver Bible Church v. Azar or cite something that was decided based upon that case, but you can't find the original one. And that all has to do with COVID and how they treated churches during that time. Okay. So this guy, big player. Now we go to Candace Owens, right? Candace Owens is a Pilgrim Society stooge. Have you guys ever heard of the Pilgrim Society?
Yeah. Is that the Samuel Alito, the Supreme Court judge?
The Pilgrim Society is a group that was created using the trust fund that Cecil Rhodes, you know who Cecil Rhodes is? Anybody? No? Okay, so Cecil Rhodes is the reason the De Beers are immensely wealthy and the reason why you have little African children mining diamonds in Africa. Okay, so what he did was he created an imperial trade routes in South Africa. And I don't really want to get too far into who he was. You guys just look him up, right? He's a globalist. He's a New World Order guy. And he figured the best way to bring about the New World Order would be to create roundtable groups, one main roundtable group that creates a bunch of other roundtable groups that bring the leaders of big business together with the leaders of government. And they can collaborate together, blend politics, blend government with corporate, the corporate structure, and get them to work together in all these different industries and markets towards one common goal, which we see today. And that's because of Cecil Rhodes, who was funded by the Rothschilds. And the very first group they created was the Pilgrim Society. So the CFR, the Trilateral Commission, and all the Bilderberg Group and all these other roundtable groups are a direct result of the Pilgrim Society, which is a direct result of Cecil Rhodes, who was funded, propped up, and put forth by the Rothschilds in the first place. And then, so Candace Owens, and then here's where you have this even deeper connection. Candace Owens' father-in-law, so in 2017, Candace Owens went to a Turning Point UK event, met George Farmer, whose father is Lord Michael Farmer, one of the barons in the Pilgrim Society. Okay, that's her father-in-law today. Okay, so back when they did that PayPal thing during the coup, right, where they were like, if you guys post anything or do anything, we're going to freeze your PayPal, and they froze the truckers' PayPal stuff, right? Well, this is the controlled opposition psychological operation net that we're caught in, which the final experiment is part of it. Is then all of a sudden Candace Owens comes out with this Rothschild-backed Glorify, which is this new right-wing conservative version of PayPal, right? And that was a direct result of, so what they're trying to do is hijack the right-wing movement, basically take control of it, because that's the whole thing, play it two sides. So as far as this regards, let me tell you what the Pilgrim Society's mission is: to annex the United States to England. Everything that's going on is coming from the city of London. It's not coming from London, and it's not the British people. It's the city of London, that little, however many square miles in the financial center of the world.
10.
Yeah, 10, just like, that would make sense.
10 by 10. Yeah, 10 by 10, I believe.
10 square miles, right? Yeah. And so it might be that much. I'm not sure if it is that much, but that would make sense. But anyways, that's not important. That's where the bar association's coming out of. That's where all these subversive groups are controlled from. The Bank of England, everything is right there in that, which the Bank of England started the Federal Reserve. So to bring it home, You have this connection here. The Pilgrim Society, they use recruiting grounds in the United States, right? One of those recruiting grounds, well, they're all universities and Ivy League schools. And one of the major ones that has their hands in 7 major Department of Energy laboratories that also obviously do business with the SpaceX and the Lockheed Martin and all the rocket, creation. That is Ohio State University. These people control more of our national energy than you would even believe.
Isn't that where Duffy went to school? Well, flunked out of school, I should say.
That is exactly where Duffy went to school. Thank you. Yes. Okay. These guys, this is a psychological operation. That's all it is. One, they hoped it worked, but they didn't really think it would work. They didn't even try. In my opinion, they didn't even try that hard. But what they're doing now is they're gathering data. That was the purpose of the final experiment, is to gather data. How we respond. What did we pick apart? What did we notice? How can they improve next time? That's what they're doing right now. Right? Because we've been picking apart. Huh?
No, sorry. I was just going to make a stupid reference. It reminds me of that Twilight Zone episode where they see that the town's going after the one guy whose lights were left on, and then the rest of the town didn't have their lights on. They think that guy's a nut job, and it ends up they're just conducting an experiment just to see how people react to.
Yes, dude. That's actually the majority of everything that's going on right now, because with the advent of AI and the ability that big tech has right now. That's what so look at the fog is a psychological operation. They're gathering data. That's why Elon Musk has this unfiltered social media platform, because he wants you to say whatever you think. He wants it to be out there. He wants to feed it to AI so AI can analyze it. AI already knows everything. AI knows what you're going to do before you do it. That's where we're at.
That's why they're presenting Elon as this freedom movement guy, just so people they let their guards down, then they start opening up about how they feel about everything. So yeah, I'm totally with you on that.
Right, and that's what we're experiencing. The final experiment was, so none of these guys are real high level guys, but I'll further reinforce this with the Antarctic tour guide that they has also been on a Brazilian talk show, by the way. Dad, if you want to look in the background, look up Flat Earth Banjo. Let me see. It was, well, see, he didn't pick this up, I don't think, because I asked him a question and he actually was like, oh wow, yeah, this let's look up Flat Earth Banjo real quick.
Yeah, find it and just put it in the back chat or bring it up on screen.
Well, I don't want to take too much time in looking it up, but the whole point is so this guy, the tour guide operator, he's right here. I'm just going to send it to you. Actually, I'll do it this way. But so the tour guide operator has been on a Brazilian talk show, right? And so what does that tell you guys, first of all? Like, what would that tell you? Like, he's been on a talk show already. He's had media exposure. What's that tell you? Is this since or before? Before.
Okay.
That's no. Oh no, it's fucking before, and that right there is what is the indicator. Sorry guys, I'm trying.
Well, what was it? Was he kind of like?
Just have a quick. Sorry. Here, I'm gonna send it to you, and then just pause it. Right at the beginning, because I'm gonna show you guys this.
Where are you sending it?
To your messenger.
Okay.
There it is. It's sent. So pull it up.
Okay.
Now pull it up
right from the beginning. It's only 3 minutes and 57 seconds. Fuck it. Let's watch it.
Okay, for sure.
I'm sure Banjo don't mind.
About it, or how you were with Flat Earth Banjo. I don't know how you feel about him or whatever.
Listen, I ain't got no beef with him. I mean,
That's
he's
how I
looking
felt.
at shit. I think he felt in his gut the same as I did, that there was most likely, and as time progressed along before it even got to that, I was like, there's some fuckery going on here. There really is. This guy, the sales guy, Duffy, has gone from, I'm an impartial guy, I want to find out for myself, I want to just settle this once and for all because of some flat earther that talked to me, to all the way to, it's a globe. He let his fucking mask slip so bad. And I hope most people caught it. I know I did. I saw it fall right the fuck off, you know?
What?
And so I already knew that there was some kind of deception. I'm looking at the guy and I'm like, you are not what you appear or are trying to appear to be. What are you really? Who are you really? You know, and that's where I started looking at shit. And that's part of the macro. That's part of the macro. I'm looking at this whole fucking thing from start to finish in retrospect, as well as just like as one big picture, you know?
Absolutely, I do know. And I just thought of it to put more concisely what I was saying about the Denver Bible Church and VAZAR situation with Enyart. They used that. So again, Duffy's best friend and mentor, who died of the coof magically, right? They used his church, they used his operation to create case precedents. That is the very first origin of case precedents in law during the coof. That's huge. Cited over 1,000 times. That's a better way to explain it. But go ahead, play this.
So what this looks like is what, some kind of Brazilian
Brazilian talk show called the I don't know how to pronounce it, the Noite. It's right there at the bottom.
It's Yimmy Camelo.
Yeah, it is. That's what I thought at first too when I just looked at the picture before I asked Flat Earth Banjo. When I just seen the picture when I started his video, I was like, "That's fucking Jimmy Kimmel." And I looked, but I didn't really look at it. You know what I mean?
Like, it does. It looks just like, you know, like one of those. I mean, and it stands to reason. Of course, they're going to have their same programming as we do, you know?
Well, it's funny because it's so much programming, and this, like, we're all susceptible to it no matter how awake we are. And that was my programming. I immediately started looking for this guy and Jimmy Kimmel interviews. And I'm like, I'm not finding this shit. Where'd you get it? So finally I had to go back to Flat Earth Banjo. I'm like, hey, what is that opening, you know, the screenshot you have at the beginning? Where's that from? And he says, oh, it's a Brazilian talk show. And then I looked at it again. I'm like, that's not Jimmy Kimmel. That's actually, you know what I mean? Jimmy Kimmel mixed with fucking Enrique Iglesias, right?
Right. It's just their version of the same fucking show.
Archetype, yeah.
You know, and it's just like we see with the newscasters, you know, why would it be any different worldwide, right?
Well, it blows your mind, something I've come doing the research on this actually. So that's what Hollywood's actually for, right? Yeah. Is Hollywood creates archetypes in movies and television, like the Joker, for instance, that they're using with what's his name, that Mangione guy, right?
Yeah,
he's supposed to be the Joker. So they create these movies, these box office hits, get you to fall in love with these anti-heroes, and then create these anti-heroes in real life and have them, you know, do something. And then, of course, AI is always gauging the reaction to it, see how effective the Hollywood programming was in the first place. And they want to engineer sympathy or they want to elicit certain emotions, beliefs, and attitudes based on the event to get you to go in a certain direction. That's what they're doing right now.
So I'm going to put the link to Banjo's channel in the chat. And this is, I'm a little different than a lot of other people, you know, where they say, go over there and give him a subscribe and all this other and everything. I say it a little differently. Okay. I'm going to put the link in there. Go over there and check out his material. And if you like what he's got, then by all means, subscribe and share his material. But I leave that up to you. Don't listen to me. Go over to his channel. I'll put that in. In fact, don't let me forget, as soon as I play this, because I'd have to minimize the screen to do it, and we're just going to play it. Okay, here we go.
Hey, guys, I'm going to log off for a minute, but I'm going to be listening. I'll try to log back on here in a little bit, okay?
All right, Dave. We'll see you after bed. If we don't see you later.
Thanks, guys.
All right, man.
Quick update here, breakthrough, really important. These guys got busted big time, lying. So this is Chico Matos. This is a Brazilian guy who works at the Union Glacier. He's a guide there, okay? So here you're going to see him. He is with Duffy and Mactoon talking. I'm not going to translate in Portuguese. He's just saying that he is there. He is filming the 24-hour sun. That's where they got busted right here. So Chico Matos, he makes a video and he uploads to his TikTok account saying that he is at the Union Glacier, 79 degrees south. I'm gonna translate first, and then I'll let you hear with his own voice. But pay attention to this, okay? So he's at 79 degrees south, and he says here it's 10 p.m.
Okay, it's 10 p.m. Now pay attention when he says it's 10 p.m.
Eu tô a 79 graus às horas da noite e é dia e aqui é sempre sol o tempo inteiro.
All right, so he claims to be, that means 10. He claims to be 10 p.m. And look at the mountain, how illuminated it is, and pay attention to his shadow. You see Mount Rosman in the back, all illuminated, and he claims to be 10 p.m. 10 p.m., okay, 22 hours if you go by military time. He claims, look at his shadow facing towards the south, and you see the mountain all illuminated. But look at the Mount Rosman, how illuminated, that's 10 p.m., right? So let's now look at the camp. That's the camp. You see the camp, look at the Mount Rosman in the back, and the filming location, that's where they filmed. So if it's 10 p.m. there, and the mountain is all illuminated, that means it was not 10 p.m. It was early in the morning, perhaps 10 a.m. Now look at this scene. This is a zoom out. Look at the mountain. There is no other way for them to film from behind the mountain. And the most interesting fact is this. If it is that image, 10 p.m., the mountain is illuminated, the only time of the day they could have shade in front of the mountain is early in the morning. So they probably filmed this like 6 a.m. and claim to be midnight because the sun is coming from here, and when it's supposedly 10 p.m., the sun's going to be in this position illuminating the mountain. 10 p.m., they filmed this scene when it's dark, the mountain is dark, at around 6 a.m. So these guys got busted. They are lying, liars, filthy liars. They filmed the mountain claiming to be midnight, when in fact this is probably sunrise on the east. And as the sun circles, it's going to be 10 p.m. The sun's going to be in front of them. All right, big time liars. I'm going to go in detail next Monday when I go live. I just want to put this out there because these guys are liars. Earth's flat. There's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Let's stop thinking that there is one, because there isn't one. If there was one, we would have had proof of it a long time ago. Take care, guys. See you next week. Bye-bye.
So the density of the information that he presented, that's the issue that we have with getting the average, person in this community to understand, which I'm not saying he's wrong by any means, because that's, great work, Banjo, great work. But, where you're putting up graphs with trigonometry on there and all that stuff, right? And like you're trying to explain how the sun's supposed to, it's much more simple than that. And what Eric Dubé did, and I know that he has, his detractors and he's got his own suspicion, we're suspicious in certain ways, but that was a concise, short, comprehensive video that shows that most likely this was done in the Amazon volume. But I want to focus on, so what I did on my channel and what I'm expressing here is I want to focus on the people involved. So that Antarctic tour guide operator, right, pops on there like, yeah, they're totally here, going to film the 24-hour sun, totally going to do that. Awesome. This guy is also somebody who is so well connected in the media industry to be invited on Brazil's Jimmy Kimmel. So we have that. We have Candace Owens, whose father-in-law is Lord Baron in the Pilgrim Society, and he's a member of the House of Lords in England. Okay. And then the director himself, you cannot, I guarantee you, because, people who subscribe to me, they know how I research, how I research. So you cannot find anything on Mark Herman. And the name that he's using as a director, because I think he's a handler, is conveniently the same name as a major famous British actor. So no matter how you look for Mark Herman,
you're going to find the other guy.
You're always going to find the other guy. Yeah, that's what's going to populate your search results. He's only directed one movie on his IMDb account, and that was Candace Owens' A Shot in the Dark in 2023. And so even though he's not directing her show, and he only directed one movie for her 2 years ago, she still chose him to go on this trip.
Yeah.
And what would they need in a studio?
Dude, I'm looking at some really light jackets, dude.
One more thing, Dad, before you get on this, right? Yeah, light jackets. All of them have light jackets, and that is a huge indicator, right? And even Bob Enyart, you can't find anything on him or his wife. But I went through. I don't really want to reveal my methods because one, it's kind of improper. But I went and looked into her, and she's from Ohio. So there you go, right back to the Ohio, Ohio State, all that stuff, right? So, and their operation over there, that is definitely part of the Pilgrim Society operation. So, and then on top of that, the director goes on, I think Ironworks, it was on Ironworks show, or he was showing it or something like that, and he slipped up and said the sunset. A subscriber sent that to me. Did you guys? I don't know if he covered that, if he picked it up, if everybody noticed that, but he said the fucking sunset. So what is he trying to add confusion to the situation, or is he just, you know what I mean? So they're throwing so much contradictory and conflicting information at the truth community. You could say, yeah, the goal is to divide. I personally say, hey, let us thank Duffy for the experiment, because now we know Jaron, Witsit, Karen B, and anybody else who gets vehemently angry at being asked logical questions, that they are not who they said. That Dave Weiss, for sure. Listen, I picked up on Dave Weiss when Dave Weiss did an interview with Nachikita, and I listened to it. I was working, so that's what I do. I listen to your podcast when I'm working, and I just put it in, and I'm listening. And Dave Weiss says, yeah, I split up from my solar panel company because they didn't like that I was a flat earther, which first of all sounds stupid as shit, unless that solar panel company is connected in with people that, you know what I mean, are trying to hide that fact.
Well, the Clintons was one of his clients.
You didn't even let me say that. He is. So when he left, his company was doing solar panels for the Clintons. So who the fuck are you and your partners and your company able to tie in with one of the most nefarious families, right, in the entire world? Listen, these people, they're very careful about who they choose to do business with.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very careful. All right. They don't just pick some random solar panel company. They don't just pick random. I know that for a fact. All right. And his company was doing work for the Clintons when he split from them, right? So who is Dave Weiss? And I do think that King Nico has a lot of good points. It is a war on biblical cosmology. That's absolutely what it is. And that ties into law as well, because they need you to not know who you are and what you are in order to get you to accept worldwide communism. You have to think like Yuval Noah Harari, right? So you have at the beginning of the Declaration of Independence, all men are endowed by these rights by their creator, right? Are endowed with unalienable rights, right? To life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, further expounded in the Virginia Declaration of Rights, which is your right to property, right? Your right to acquire property, protect yourself, your property, and your family. And you cannot deprive your posterity, meaning your children, of property. Now, the only way you can actually know that is if you have a relationship with your creator. Mm-hmm. Right now, you look at Yuval Noah Harari, who's Klaus Schwab's right-hand man in the World Economic Forum. He says human rights are a fairy tale. Now, how the only thing you can do to get people to buy that is to remove them from the creator. That's why they're doing this.
It is all part of the New World Order. I mean, that's a lot of.
They have to. They have to destroy biblical cosmology. Mm-hmm. They have to do it for this to work. That's why China and communist countries, I say in communist countries, the government has to be satanic and the population has to be atheist.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they go right against religion, especially Christianity. They go against it real hard. They're persecuted really hard in China. In fact, it's hard for them to even get their hands on a Bible.
That was going to be my point, is that how important words are, and especially in the Bible. And they only allow the Chinese Christians to have CCP approved Bibles, which mm-hmm. means they edit it. The government edits the Bible, edits the inspired word of God, and decides what is deemed necessary for the public to consume.
And you know what it says about that in there, right? You're not supposed to be changing that fucking shit, right?
but they're doing it, and that's the point. They have to do this shit. This guy looks like his Chicago Cubby Bear is like, oh my god, this sucks.
Well, I mean, hold on, wait, am I mistaken, or did I hear somewhere that his partner in businesses is or was Timothy Rothschild?
Whose partner?
Dave Weiss.
Oh, I don't know, but if I'm now going to look into it, that's the first time I've heard that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't doubt it, though.
I've heard mention of this several times now.
I wouldn't doubt it, because how do you get access to the Clintons? Clintons are big power. They're not the top power, but they're powerful enough to have killed how many people now, and nobody investigates it.
40 something now.
40 something, yeah. Vince Foster, right in the White House, killed this guy. In the fucking White House, kill him. Nobody looks into it.
In Battery Park, I think.
You know what I mean? So it's just, and but the only thing people remember about Bill is Monica, right? Because that's, who cares if you got a blowjob? That's how, and this is how the psyops work. They want to put this stuff, you get this air of frat boy, cool dude movies. You know what I'm saying? They pump them out for a few years, and then they turn around and go, was it really a big, and then they have some, hired podcasters or people like us and be like, was it really a big deal that Big Willie got his dick sucked in the Oval Office? Who cares? He's the man, And then because of all the cool frat dude movies they've been pumping out in the public, and that generation coming of age, right, that now becomes the prevailing attitude in society. This is what they're doing to us. Like this final experiment thing opened a way bigger door than they had intended to, because everything that's going on right now is a series of psychological operations to gather data. That's what they're doing.
Have you ever read that book? I think it's called Transformation of America. It's by, I want to say Kathy O'Brien. She was like an MK Ultra survivor of.
But even her, somebody like her to still be alive, no, I don't trust it. I think she's giving us some truth. But that's another psyop puppet.
Yeah.
Because it's, how is she still living? Listen, Boeing ends people for even beginning to question. You know what I'm saying? So, and with no problem, no investigation.
Yeah.
Right. And we're talking, so you're talking about this lady coming out against the whole fucking. So there is the aspect of, they could think, oh, most people think she's crazy. But now that's not the environment. That is not the environment today. Right. And she's still alive.
Yeah.
Isn't she, actually?
Yeah, I believe so.
Right. So, and this stuff is not, it's all easily accessible. They don't censor it. They don't censor any of her stuff.
I think her name's Kathy O'Brien.
It is. No, it is. Kathy O'Brien.
I think I was asking.
Oh, yeah, it's Kathy O'Brien. But they don't censor any of her stuff. Now, she does give us some truth. Listen, I'll tell you.
Definitely. That's kind of what I was going with, is that she kind of gives you little tidbits of like, what you're saying with how they want to, tear down to rebuild the New World Order, basically, and they got to do it by destroying religion and everything else. But yeah,
and maybe everything, because I haven't heard anything out of her mouth that would necessarily be untrue. But the way she presents it takes the average person who doesn't know the things we do, and it takes it from something that's normal and plausible, and then brings it into this realm of the satanic panic, basically, which is actually a thing. It's a real thing. We had it in our military. It's Michael Aquino literally wrote an entire book about manipulating people's minds. And you know what I mean? An MK Ultra and stuff. It's called Mind War. And he was an open Satanist having rituals, just like Jack Parsons and them guys. And let's bring it to another thing, since I brought up Jack Parsons, which leads to Crowley, right? So what is the name of Duffy's Lodge?
Agape Kingdom.
Fellowship. Yeah, I'm sorry, not Lodge. That's why I get it mixed up in my head, because Crowley's Lodge was Agape Lodge. Now, guess who one of the biggest corporate partners of Ohio State University is? Agape Technologies. Not shitting. I presented it on my show the other night. And yeah, Agape. I'm not saying it's, of course, that's a very loose link, but this thing keeps coming up when it comes to space rockets and the globe and all this, and it's like every rabbit hole ends up going to some agape shit, and something that leads back to Crowley and Thelema and the Do What Thou Wilt cult, which let me tell you something. The thing that Duffy said about lying when he gave his sermon is the exact same thing that Anton LaVey said about lying. It's almost word for word exactly the same.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. If you guys can't see this stuff, listen. So, you know, the most ardent critic and skeptic would be like, well, you have not provided any concrete links. And all I can say to that is, listen, where there's smoke, there's fire. Okay.
God.
And
where
we
there's
are
a lot
in
of smoke, there's a lot of fire.
a 10 square fucking mile area of smoke right now.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of smoke there. It means there's a lot of fire. That's all. Yeah.
Right. You know? So, and yeah, it's you know, honestly, and the other things I know I'm not going to get into tonight, but it'd really be it would really creep a lot of people out, because I seen somebody said this is creepy. Yes, it is creepy. But this is what's happening. We're in a literal battle with demonic forces. No question. Whether you're a Christian or not, whether you want to say listen, because every religion for the most part, or every path, has demons. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're at war against demonic forces. And I personally believe it's a direct attack on biblical cosmology for two purposes. One, the absolute control of resources. And in order to absolutely control resources, they need you to think there are no more unexplored lands or continents hidden. And now I don't believe, because biblical cosmology doesn't provide for biblical cosmology doesn't provide for exterior lands outside of an Antarctica wall, or, you know, or an infinite plane or anything like that. So whether it is or isn't, but I do know they're very capable, thanks to actually my dad here. He brought up a good point, is the way that we navigate by sea. You could hide entire continents in nautical miles. Absolutely.
Oh, fuck yes. Look at the South Pacific. Christ almighty. There's a vast area of ocean in the South Pacific that nobody fucking goes to for any reason whatsoever.
So it's hide the resource. I'm gonna let you expound on that. Actually, it's hide the resources by thinking there's no more land, creating this little cage they've cut out for you in 7 continents, right? That we've explored, and this is the only place you go, and then controlling all ability to travel to those places, making sure that you never get on a ship or anything like that that's going to go to one of these other places they're hiding.
Right.
And then the other purpose is to make you think that man can tell you what to do absent a contract, right? Because only your relationship with God or the creator, however you view, will make you understand that you're created in the image of God, and that you're endowed with unalienable natural rights, which is what the United States is founded on in the first place. You cannot have that if there is no God, right? So, and you'd be interested to know the separation of church and state comes from a Supreme Court ruling. It's bullshit. And secondly, what they meant by that in the first place was that you should have the government should have no allegiance to one particular religion or another, because, you know, certain religions are actually political states themselves.
Yeah.
And then secondly, you couldn't vote, or you couldn't testify. Yeah. You couldn't hold office or any of those things if you were a known atheist, if you didn't at least pretend to be a Christian, because we're a Christian nation. That's a fact. If you cannot take an oath on the Bible, and that oath be seen as a binding oath because you're an atheist, then you cannot hold office and you cannot testify, period. That's how.
Which I find ironic. I find it ironic that people swear an oath on a book that explicitly says in it to not swear oaths, man. It's like, what?
Right. Okay. Well, there is that, but that's also misunderstood. And secondly, it also says do not bear false witness. So that's where Duffy turned that around, and where the Satanists turned that around and say that bearing false witness only applies to lying. It's actually a court term, right? And that's what he's trying to extrapolate, which is also how I know he's connected to this
Luciferian inversion.
Yes, because that's how I know how he's connected to these people, because that is that interpretation of that commandment. It says you just can't put your hand on the Bible and swear an oath to tell the truth and then lie, right? That's what he's saying. So, but yeah, they can hide continents too. So it's control of resources and burying, because they can never destroy it. Common law.
Yeah, don't get trapped into the map trap, man. That's a when you start looking into when they started mapping out and putting down the global coordinates and establishing the meridians, and you see that the British Empire was pretty much in charge of that entire fucking thing. Okay. And still to this day, every map produced has to coincide with their regulations on a map before it can be published. So, if you look, everybody says, oh, the Gleason map, but it's on the projection by J.S. Christopher. Okay. So J.F. Christopher had to use the projection of global coordinates in order to make the map even close to what it would be. And that's why it says practically accurate and scientific, because they had to go by tightly controlled restraints. And that's going to be the deal with any map that you get. So don't fall into the map. I hear these people say, well, where's your map? Where's your map? Where the fuck is yours? Yours isn't accurate either. Well, yes, it is. How did you verify the distances between land masses, my friend? Because there was a little thing down at the bottom that told you how far it was? Good job. No. You got calculated distances. I mean, think about it, bro. The fucking meridians do spread apart. Why do you think the top speed record for a sailboat down in fucking Antarctica area is 4.5 knots? Because it's a calculated speed. It's not a measured speed.
No, it was a mind-blowing. When I watched your show, I was at work when I watched your show talking about that. It was a mind-blowing. That's a very good point. That is a very, very, very good point. You can't use the stars to reference distance in the same way in the southern hemisphere, quote unquote, sphere, right? You have to, So, there is no real way to gauge the distance between one place and another. You can it's basically an semi-educated guess, right? But they give us an exact depiction of a globe. In a southern hemisphere in these distances, but none of the data that comes out of those areas actually matches a globe at all, or reflects or replicates what happens in the northern quote unquote hemisphere, right? No. So that was pretty interesting, and I think they're hiding light. So whether there's and the reason I say this or brought it up in the first place is because I think that maybe the extra terra thing might be a psyop as well. That's why Dave Weiss promotes it so much, and I think that might have been one of their two options they were thinking about when they first discovered the dome and the wall.
Outer lands or outer spaces.
They were like, should we do outer space or should we do outer lands? And so I think they've been keeping outer lands as a backup, and they're now deploying it as a psychological operation into the truth community, because it's all to destroy biblical cosmology. Now the space thing's breaking down, but we have the outer lands thing to back it up. So we're going to promote these rising stars in the quote unquote truth community to be the advocates for these extra lands. And then we can introduce these, because those beings, I personally believe, are very, very, very real and seriously here, but they've been here the whole time, and the Bible talks about it, right? So it's all about, where are we going to say these things came from? Because we can't say they're fallen angels or demons. Are we going to say they came from space as aliens? Or are we going to say they came from outer lands as quote unquote extraterrestrials?
Anunnaki Jew lizards from Nibiru, man. That's what it is.
I sent you something.
The where in Messenger?
Because one of your subscribers, it might be one of mine, I'm not sure, but one of your subscribers said that
oh shit!
Did anybody see these are the people that are running us? Did anybody see the Alaskan representatives praying to open their meeting with the prayer to Satan? So I went ahead and looked that up.
I got it. I'll pull that up here in just a minute. Wow, that's some fucked up shit. But you know this Luciferian inversion shit, and I could see that fucking guy. And it's amazing. I don't know. I have this ability to see people, man, for what it's like I can see demons. I can see evil. And it's fucking remarkable. And I don't always say something. But man, I'll tell you what, Duffy, right off the bat, I was like, oh, he's not a good guy at all. Look at this fucking guy. That smiles is fake as shit. That's as
he's a salesman.
It's more fake than Pamela Anderson's tits.
He's a salesman.
Yeah, exactly. And I recognized it for what it was, but the thing that gave it away was the eyes and the body language. It was almost like this duper delight bullshit going on with him. You know what I'm saying? This little, yeah, it's like the duper delight shit, like the little demon's happy. But one thing before I show this, one of the things that really gets me with some of these is that how vehemently angry they get at the prospect of being enclosed, that there is no escaping Earth, not in an incarnate body. Okay, they really get fucking bent out of shape about that. When you say that you're enclosed within a dynamic fluid pressure system, they about lose their fucking minds over that. And I think that that's really telling. And you take it back to, bam, pattern, the Tower of Babel, right? Because people were desperately trying to get somewhere, weren't they?
There you go.
And their efforts were being thwarted. Boom, gone. And they really cannot handle the fact that they are trapped here. And that is, the demons are trapped here. They have no place on earth or in heaven.
That's
you know, and
big thing. And most important, sorry, Chicago, I'll let you go. But most importantly, they envy our free will. They envy what we have, our estate and our free will. And that's why they seek to hijack it. Will somebody, and they can say what you're gonna say, but will somebody take care of that troll that's in the chat that's named Jaren's Tiny Penis that keeps trying to say that let's talk about Austin and Duffy killing John Benet Ramsey, which is ridiculous. And
Jesus Christ, nobody said anything about Jaren or
right, it's fucking stupid. So will somebody, whoever the moderators are, just go ahead and get rid of that.
Yeah,
guy.
there's a fishy connection. You have to go back a few months to look at the video about it.
Well, his handwriting actually, Bob Enyart's, and there's a lot of evidence to suggest that was a satanic ritual thing. But
give him a good.
Hold on, before you play it, let Chicago
just give him a good timeout, and you know what to do, and then they can come back with a second chance. But you get stupid. There's 3 strikes. You get 3 strikes. Now, my moderators are pretty tolerant, but, you probably need to learn how shit works, right? So a timeout, a longer timeout the second time. Third time you get a timeout, you're timed out forever. That's it. You walk off the plate. You don't get to bat no more. You get it? All right. It's just like baseball. So let's look at the Satanist government, people. Go ahead and pray to their Lord and Master, Satan, for whatever the fuck it is they're praying for. Let me see here. We got everything set.
We'll now have an indication by Iris Fontana from the Satanic Temple. You may either remain standing or be seated. No one's required to participate. Please come forward.
Nobody sat down.
No,
I sat my ass down right away.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Let us stand now, unbowed and unfettered by arcane doctrines born of fearful minds in darkened times. Let us embrace the Luciferian impulse to eat of the tree of knowledge and dissipate our blissful and comforting delusions of old. Let us demand that individuals be judged for their concrete actions, not their fealty to arbitrary social norms and illusory categorizations. Let us reason our solutions with agnosticism in all things, holding fast only to that which is demonstrably true. Let us stand firm against any.
I don't even know if we should even be listening to this fucking bitch. Fuck her.
Right, except the globe, though. What can be proven as unbiasedly true? Yeah, except the globe. Right, but no, these are the people running the show.
Oh, right? I have no doubt in my mind. That these people.
So you see, none of them sat down. At the very, if you were a representative, because I know the law, this is how it works. You can't be improper in the court, and the court is its own thing. It's like a temple, right? So, and that's a whole other thing on my channel, just whatever. But I would have sat down immediately. because by standing, that means you agree with what's being done. That's why they said that. Or you can sit down. They had to say that. They had to give the option because of volition, free will, which is what law is based on. This is why I wage war against these people. But at the end of the day, that is who's running, not the Alaskan representatives, but that's just a small portion, an example of the entirety of the culture of politics and what it has become, right? And realize that. So is it that far-fetched to think that they'd wage war on biblical cosmology? I know most people watching probably would not say so, but if you're new and you're just coming across Sovereign's channel, think about that for a little bit, right? And just be like, wow, they just did a satanic invocation at in a government meeting, and everyone was okay with it because they were given the option to sit down if they were not okay with it. So everybody clearly gave their consent to what was going on because they know their political careers and lives depend on it. And they literally invoked Lucifer and all that right there, just right there in the middle of a government meeting. And and then conducted business as usual. See, Congress historically has always opened a meeting or a session with a prayer, and they always God.
That one they did that I couldn't believe it. There was all this woke bullshit, and dude says he ended the prayer with "Amen" and a woman. And I was like, oh, fuck. These guys ain't even serious, man. That guy probably ain't even real.
No, they're very dead serious. They're very, very dead serious. It's not a joke. Like,
what do you guys think about the fucking mountain being like it's an overlay from like 2017? Because look, I found some really fucking shady shit about that too. And people trying to say, oh, well, the mountain doesn't change. Well, no shit, Sherlock, but the snow does.
Well, yeah, you sent me some pictures. I need you to translate those.
All right, let me see if I can find those real quick.
And with Duffy, I mean, what pastor wants to see a whole group of people fail so badly, like proclaim pastor? And it's like with him, he doesn't like if this thing was such a big success, wouldn't he be praising the Lord that it was? He doesn't pray to any. He doesn't want to praise to something.
That's a good point.
He doesn't pray anytime for like or health or safety in the trip or anything. It's nothing.
Thank God the truth has been revealed, right? That's a great point because a real pastor actually would do that. That's a solid point, Chicago.
I mean, you never see the guy pray about anything. He doesn't praise, praise
except
the Lord,
that line was good.
Yeah.
All right. So
exactly.
But here's the funny thing, though, since you brought that up, is his congregation's not very big because it's not a congregation; it's a psychological operations team. So
does anybody have any like proof that, I mean, outside of YouTube, like of that guy like actually conducting, like any type of like actual sermon, like church activities? I mean,
okay. So Roger Ledwell, he's been on this show before. He might be watching right now. I don't know. I don't see him in the chat though. He's planning on going down next year. But he lives not far from that church and that whole where they're at. Okay. So one night live, he went to the church and supposedly they were supposed to have services, but the place was locked up. It was closed. So in any case, he did go and he talked to Duffy in person. He's been to the church. He says it's a really small congregation. And
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So he's been there. And I think Ryan's onto something with it, as far as it being just a psychological operation. And let's not forget, Colorado and the Boulder area is going to be a really big psychological operations area.
It is an Illuminati hub.
It is
Denver International Airport. Sorry to interrupt, but go ahead.
Yeah. I was just getting there. You're right on it. Yeah, Denver International Airport. Now, they want to claim that the rock face stays the same. Of course it does, but the snow doesn't always stay the same. Okay, so this was November 27th, 2016. That's that mountain that they're always in front of. And then here they are in front of that mountain. And when I zoom back out here, I want you to notice that this is identical these snow patterns are identical, right? Identical. Now, you remember Mount Whitney, right, Ryan?
Of course.
Okay,
Beautiful.
so it's a snow-capped mountain, and the snow on the cap of that mountain changes. Every time there's more snow or it gets warmer or whatever, it always changes. But the rock face itself, of course, stays the same. That's more of the trickery. This is the mountain doesn't change, because that's what people are saying. No, we're not talking about the mountain changing. We're talking about the actual snow. So this is identical, completely identical to what we had in November of 2016. All right, now just bear with me for a second here. Bear with me. I'm going to go, to this one. Let me bring this up. All right, now look. I'm going to bring this down. Here's in 2020, same mountain. 2022, do you see how they're always different? This is because weather. Now, I've got video that we were watching of people going to Union Glacier Camp for their marathon or whatever the hell, just to go there from November of 2017. The mountain is different. The snow is different on it, completely different. It's windy, it's cold, it's overcast. We're watching Jaron and Witsit supposedly with the time that they're there live. And I'm at the same time looking at the Union Glacier Camp airport weather, up to the minute weather for the airport that shows cloudy skies, -7 degrees Celsius. Yet what I'm seeing on screen is not matching what the weather conditions that I should be seeing. Cloudy skies. I don't see a single fucking cloud in the sky.
Amazon volume, dude. Absolutely how they did it. And this also, I forgot to mention earlier when I brought up the Pilgrim Society, their big thing lately has they entirely control big tech. They entirely control big tech. That is their main focus right now, is making sure that they steal any code or any type of program, right, that would give people the ability to do something that they would rather repurpose for their agenda. So like the whole thing about the Pilgrim Society, people have never heard of it. I never heard of it. You hear about Jesuits, you hear about everybody else, right? But the Pilgrim Society, and this is why I think they're actually who's doing it, has managed to stay under the radar for the most part up until they stole technology for Facebook. And that guy got so pissed off, looked into his patent attorney, then started looking into the other people around him, and his research. He was smart enough to create basically the technology that created Facebook. So he did like what we do, and he traced it back to this organization created by Cecil Rhodes. Their big thing is big tech right now. Okay. Huge thing that they're doing. And they're the reason, well, which is one reason why they're using this to gather data, by the way. That's us. I just want to throw that in. I'm not going to expound upon it right now, but that's why they're using this operation. And of course, again, Candace Owens directly related to the Pilgrim Society through her father-in-law. But to kind of so it's not a far stretch to think that they wouldn't have easy access to the very technology that they would need, like Amazon volume, to just set up a studio. And you know what? Even if you remove the Pilgrim Society connection, which you can't, it's inextricable in my opinion, but even if you remove that connection, it's still very easy to, there was this producer who is in the middle of, and I'd have to look him up because I don't remember his name, but you guys can look him up. Just look up, and don't look up in a conspiratorial way, but just look up like, hey, what producer realized that Amazon volume is way better than a studio? He was building a massive studio with all these sets and stages. And when Amazon volume came out, he abandoned the project and pulled out. He said, okay, nope, that's not even a good investment. Nope. If this is where everything's going, then hell yeah. So they can film. The Mandalorian was entirely filmed inside Amazon volume. The entire
yeah,
show.
look at this here even.
But outside of that, before you pull it up, the other thing I wanted to say. Well, go ahead, play it. Sorry.
I mean, I'm just saying, there's one that's one of the Amazon's things. You know, there's one of the Volume Studios. That's just a small, cheap one.
And that's cheap. It's cheap, right? You got to think the amount of money that they would have even had to initially invest in some type of enterprise like this, right? So you've got not just one, but all the people going, supposedly one benefactor's paying for it, right? What I think that actually happened was that they sat Witsit. Witsit's the one that and he gave us a hint. He did give us a hint, and I do hold out for Witsit. I think that he was unwillingly compromised, and they can compromise anybody. So anybody who wants to get down on somebody for being, if you have family, if you have a child, they can compromise you, period. Not a question. Not even a question. They will end everything that you love. They will kill you so quickly and so efficiently, and nobody will ever look into it, right? I think they sat Witsit down, and Jaron has been a part of planning it, I believe, because he's been a shill for a long time, like Weiss. That's why he was propagated by Weiss. I think they sat Witsit down, and they said, here's the money we were going to spend on your trip. We're going to give this to you with some, right? Go along with this. And Witsit, in one of the videos I watched that they released, they said, yeah, there's guys with guns on the other side of the camera. No, I'm just kidding. But it was awkward. It was very awkward, right?
Yeah.
Right? It was almost like he was trying to tell us, like a Kubrick style, fucking trying to give us a hint, like, yeah, there's guys with guns on the other side of this.
You might want to start looking at to see if they're blinking their eyes in Morse code or something. Oh shit, I got Kevin C's backstage. My bad.
But the thing I wanted to say was what did it for me when I was watching it, really. Well, there's a couple things. The oblong sun, the putting the, what's it called, chroma or whatever it is on it, and
the green screen chroma key.
Yeah, that was a red herring.
It is a red herring. It blocks out everything from except the mount and all that stuff. And the fact that they put forth a red herring with the guy in the beginning with the TFE logo, of course that's a red herring. That's PSYOP 101. But what really did it for me is the lack of footprints. Yet, okay, by itself, okay, maybe the ground so solidly frozen that it would take a machine weighing, over a ton to actually create an impression. Sure, but why are there footsteps crunching, but there's no footstep? Their feet as they walk are crunching.
Yeah,
you hear it, but there is
that's ice breaking.
There's no footstep. Yeah, that's what the crunch is the ice break. Exactly. It's the ice is breaking. Where is the footstep? Nowhere. So
to me, like every time something came up, like anytime some question came up, like they had to address that issue. Like they had an excuse ready to go. Like every anomaly that happened, instead of filming the 24-hour sun or doing whatever data they went down there to go get, supposedly, they had to address the issues that people had coming across, like chat or whatever. That's all they ever did.
But it was already planned, wasn't it?
Right.
Because even Witsit gave that away with the Vapegate thing.
Right.
He said, I knew you guys would bring this up. Or was
right,
it?
That's what
it was one of those things. I knew you guys would bring. Why would you, who is on our side, right, know that we would bring that up?
I mean, they spent more time doing that.
No, that was a red flag.
Between
right
sleeping.
I knew you'd bring this up. So you were planning this then. You were planning on what are your own people? What objections are we going to present to you? So you're planning. I knew you'd bring it up. It was already a slip of the tongue.
And the other time they're sleeping because they're so tired.
Yeah,
you guys
exactly.
The hard part for me to tolerate with it is why were they doing like one person on camera at a time? It was really it was weird how they structured the whole thing, the camera and all that. There was never like two of them on the camera at the same time, and that didn't make any sense to me.
Turn his mic up, Dad.
Well, I think Jaron and Witsit were on camera together a couple times. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong on that, but I thought Witsit and Jaron were on camera. Like, maybe not.
Well, I don't recall seeing that. I mean, I didn't really go through it like you guys did. You guys really explored it, but
No,
I mean,
the only time I think I saw them ever appear on camera together,
that's actually
as I'm trying to think, is when they were in Point Arenas.
Yeah,
right.
But they had a director there, obviously, we know, right?
Well, wasn't Lisbeth and Jaron
you
on
could
camera
very
together?
easily,
I guess not with it, but
you could very easily,
I could be wrong.
I think these were all filmed at different times. So anybody who thinks this was a spontaneous idea of Will Duffy, the psyop fucking agent guy that's in trouble right now and trying to bail his own ass out, that's ridiculous. This has been planned for quite some time. I think actually this is the culmination of the Dave Weiss, the Jaron, the Karen B's. This is the culmination of why they've let them ruminate in the community for a few years, gain notoriety and a following.
Right. Well, I made a comment, I don't know, a couple months ago when we were talking about this crap starting up. And I made the comment that, this is absolutely, it's not going to be any different when it's all over. It's going to be the same crap. It's never going to go. Either they're not going to go or something's going to happen. I didn't think they were going to go for real. And I don't really think they did. I think it's all BS.
Well, I said this on my show the other night. They're naming it TFE, and then he always has the logo in his background when he's streaming. It's TFE, right? TFE. Well, this is not so much for us it's for the algorithm, because again, this is a data collection operation. So now anytime somebody looks up the flat earth, right, or anything like that, or FE or whatever, if you use those search terms, it's going to bring up TFE. And it's going to be like, oh yeah, these guys went down and disproved the globe, or disproved flat earth and proved the globe, 24-hour sun, right? And this is all intricately, but not very well done, by the way. Like they're still not taking us seriously.
Can I just have the floor just for a second? I'd like to thank Kristen Springer for your donation. Thank you so much, Kristen. I really appreciate that. And we had also from let's see, from Do Kim. Do Kim, thank you so much for your donation. I appreciate it greatly. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate the support. Okay, floor's back.
So before they went, I kind of looked at the ALE Facebook page, and they had like testimonials and stuff from people. But then you'd go and click on some of the testimonials, and it was clearly people that they weren't real accounts or whatever on Facebook. But it's like, has there been any? I haven't looked since. Has anybody?
I'm gonna look.
Look at their Facebook now. Is there any kind of like footage on their Facebook page showing where they had went on their trip? Or I guess that they're waiting on that data too. They might have to.
What were they under, ALE, or were they under
whatever? I think it's the full name of the company. Atlantic Logistics, whatever.
Well, here's another thing, is that the people that run tours to Antarctica, because that's the very first place I'd look, is who, and does anybody know the company that provided the tour? Because I'm having trouble finding that, and so I'd like to look into it. But that entire industry has been unionized, and not only that, but turned into an international organization that is tightly controlled by, can anybody guess who it's controlled by?
Westrock.
Yeah, the Rothschilds.
Yeah.
I'm at their website, or their Facebook page. I'm gonna bring this up for y'all.
Yeah, I mean, you look at some of the testimony, like if you go into
I'm just looking at this very first post on here that was put up on December 30th to start with.
Oh, okay.
Founded in 2013, ALE's library was founded thanks to the donation of Rabbi Yosef Wasp. Over the years, our collection has expanded to include multiple foreign language editions and a satellite library at Three Glaciers Retreat. ALE is grateful for the individuals who have donated to our library over the years. And it's like, you got time down there. You just spent $35,000 or more to go down
To
here
go
to
to the library.
Antarctica, and you're gonna what? Sit in a tent and read a novel?
Do they got Will Duffy's books in there?
Jesus, criminally, y'all. Let's see.
That in the souvenir shop, like Jaron posted some stuff about the souvenir shop. It's like, who the fuck cares about getting? You're gonna be there for what, like 4 days or something? It's like.
The reason I keep impressing upon everyone, and I'm sure you will all agree, at least on the panel, and I'm sure most viewers, that this is a psychological operation. We can tell because their response to our response is changing in real time. Like, I highly suspect, and of course could never prove, that the reason they started doing all the drone sightings at the same time as the final excrement, as my dad so aptly named it, is because they were preemptively preparing something that their most coveted project that they want to launch, right? Which is Bluebeam, right? Which is probably not called that, and I'm sure they've changed a lot about it since everybody knows about it, which is what happened after that happened anyway. But they wanted to set the stage for, like, if we can do this. So nothing they're doing is completely set in stone. They're being both active and responsive to the way we react to what they're doing. That's the point of psychological operation. So they did the drone thing and put all that in the works and then launched the final experiment. And then now everybody in the community is shooting it to fucking death. And now who's heard about drones recently?
Right.
Where'd that go?
Don't forget the poor astronauts that are still stuck up in space.
Right. You see the date on this photograph? You see these people are wearing really warm shit. Okay. But the date on this photograph, this went up December 24th, 2024.
You mean nobody's shirtless? That's
well,
weird.
And look at the mountain.
No, do they like?
Is Union Glacier?
Do they move that sign
actual
around, or
place?
what? Is that just like the sign they take to take pictures in front of, like their little prop sign or whatever? Like,
so I had a subscriber comment on one of my posts.
Man, look at all that loose fucking snow under their feet too. Holy shit.
He said, do you think that they faked the marathon as well? Because the breath is the same and, everything. So I watched the video of the marathon. And, of course, they made – so this is the difference. They made footprints. And Jaron and the gang did not make footprints. Is that – you know what I'm saying? But everything else was pretty much the same. And I told him, I said, listen, dude. I said, yeah, so they staged that for that to be a marathon. And there are footprints and people are making footprints. And I said, but the fact that it is a marathon means they would focus on the fact that there should be footprints because that's the entire point of a marathon, right? Is running. So you have to have the footprints. So their focus would be on that, not the sky, right? I said, I think that Antarctica is becoming the new International Space Station.
Yeah.
Look at this.
I think I heard that Run Boston Bear was going to be running in that marathon. I'm not sure at what point, but
look at these coats. This is December 19th. Look at this. Look at these coats.
Yeah, there's no way, dude. It was done in Amazon volume for sure. Most of the footage was recorded in a panelized LCD studio for sure, without a question.
Look at that. Hey, what's that? An old B-17?
Does anybody consider the thought that maybe?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
My bad. Does anybody consider the fact that it could be in anywhere? It could be in Colorado. It could be anywhere where they're recording it.
I don't think they'd be that sloppy, but let me address Make Stupid People Famous. The Fallen Angels, I believe, rule from Kazakhstan, actually. So,
well, you do know that there is a UN disengagement observer force on top of Mount Herman right now, and it is a restricted area. You cannot go there. I think it's interesting. It's called an observer force. Now, wait a second. You mean to tell me that Union Glacier Camp didn't post anything about Jaron and them going down
That's
there?
what I'm saying. There hasn't been a single post about them or anything.
It's December 12th. Telling our Antarctica camps are bustling with activities, penguin tours, excursion to the interior of the continent, South Pole visits, Vincent summits, all more, blah, 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 blah. Nothing.
No, it's all
We come
propaganda.
up here, and this is December the 15th. Mount Vincent is the highest peak in Antarctica, blah, 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 blah.
They're all like stock pictures from whatever.
Okay. And then we come up here to, this is December 16th. Now, what day were they down there? Come on. Let's take a look at this photograph. Holy shit.
Wow,
That's
there's
not very clear.
A lot of mist there, whatever
That's
you want to call
awful
it.
fucking snowy and not clear. That's December the 16th.
So let me ask you this, Dad, because I'm more the law guy, you're the more science physics guy. Let me ask you this. So when Whitsitt has no condensation coming from his breath, right? And he says, because the air is too dry. Now, I'm just using logic, right? And common sense, right? What causes breath is when the moisture in the air vaporizes, correct? Because, or rather, it does. It vaporizes from cold instead of heat. Right. Okay. So even without moisture in the air, there is necessarily moisture in your lungs.
Yes.
In your breath. So there is no situation.
What's up
now? Yeah, there you go. There is no situation in which you would breathe out in an ultra cold environment and not have condensation. That is literally impossible. Impossible.
Well, here's a question. Look at here. This is December the 17th. Nobody mentioned this. History in the making. ALE is proud to support the Chilean Navy's first landing of a P-3 Orion aircraft on our blue ice runway. This landing is the furthest south landing for the Armada de Chile and the furthest south landing of an Orion P-3. This amazing aircraft fit with radar sensors is off on a surveying mission to map Antarctica at a higher resolution with the Centro de Estudios Científicos CESC or whatever.
Good job. Good job.
I did that good with the accent and everything, didn't I? Pronunciation.
Yeah, you did well.
You would have thought I was made of chili. So this was apparently a historic thing that happened during this time frame, yet we have no mention of that whatsoever, and still no mention of the final experiment at all. Here's December the 18th.
What about that? Wasn't the weather like bad leading up to it, and then they had to leave early? And it's like, oh, the skies just opened up perfectly for the time that.
Yeah, and they landed this fucking prop-driven airplane, no problem. Okay.
So I think what you just picked out, which is it just further reinforces our point, is the fact that the psychological operation that they performed, they don't want to draw unnecessary attention to it, but they want to draw the right attention to it, which is why they use their puppet Candace Owens. Because people who watch Candace Owens are somewhat awake. They're somewhat awake. Because if you listen, she gives you just enough truth. Like she pointed out that Kamala Harris is not an American citizen. She did a whole deep dive on her family and exposed a bunch of stuff. Like these are, so she is a truther shill magnet, and she's a gatekeeper, right? So you hit Candace Owens, right? So, but they're not going to report this on something like this because this is for science. This is for fight the flat Earth, fat ass Craig. Right, that's who those type of people. That's what this is for. Okay, they're never even going to look into flat Earth. Don't even care about it. So if they tied this now they would be shooting themselves in the foot. If they tied something like this, where only the already programmed people are going to be interested in it. If they said, oh, yeah, and this is going to be where the final experiment, blah, blah, then people would be like, well, what the hell is that? And what is it about? And then it would lead more people into the community, which they are.
I'm convinced that they did not go.
No, I'm convinced.
Nobody mentioned anything about this, supposedly this historic thing here. There's no mention anywhere on this fucking Facebook page at all about the final experiment or anything. There's nothing, not a fucking thing at all on here about the final experiment. The pictures I'm getting, look, here's December the 16th. That's fucked up looking. Okay, I'm sorry, that's fucked up looking. And I'm sorry.
TFE have a web page?
What's that?
Does TFE have a web page?
This is Antarctic Logistics Expeditions. This is ALE.
That's the company that took them down there. But does the Flat Earth have the TFE experiment have a page?
Well, yeah, but what good is that? We know whose it is. It belongs to Will Duffy. So what the fuck good is that? I'm going to the place. Look, they were there at these people's camp doing something that was supposed to settle a 400-year-old fucking argument, right?
Right.
Okay, and there's no mention of it on their Facebook page. Wouldn't that be a cool thing? Let's see if their tour guide says anything about it.
That's what I'm saying. And if you go into some of the reviews, even it's just like you'll click on some. It's like, oh, this place is great. It's the most beautiful thing you ever seen. But you click on that person, you can clearly see
that's a very good
real
point.
account.
No, there's nothing in there about that.
Is there a logbook or something where they've like signed a register or like a guest book of all the people that have gone down there?
Look, I'm in the date range that they was in there, man.
Right.
And there's not a single fucking one post about it. Not one. Oh, look at this woman with red cheeks because of the wind and shit, taking a picture. And that's December the 3rd. That was my birthday. And then, here we are, December the 11th. There's that little black pyramid or whatever the fuck down there. We didn't see none of that shit. That would be kind of cool, but they weren't there for that. And look here's December the 16th at 8:01 a.m. Okay, look at there. That's pretty fucked up looking. Okay, well, whatever. I don't know, man. It's just like, and here's this historic flight of this aircraft that landed at the Union Glacier Airport. Look at the crew out there posing with it and everything else, right? And oh, look, that fucking mountain has got different snow on it too. How about that shit? Jesus.
Yep, that's very good find. That's a very good find. Yeah, absolutely, that's a very good point right there. I would actually clip this entire section and put it into a reel and put that out because that's a good hell yeah, it's a good find. Yeah, that makes no sense at all, right?
Yeah,
if I was
they didn't have that kind of backdrop. Hell no.
So that's the exact reason that they're going to silently promote the documentary that Will Duffy's already been paid for. That's probably paying his court stuff and getting him out of trouble and everything, right? Guaranteed. That was that deal that he advertised that said, oh, there's going to be a documentary and there's a director, producer, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Fuck that shit.
He was already paid for it. All he has to do to get out of trouble, right, is, that's all he had to do was go to Antarctica. That's it, right? And get these guys to go to Antarctica, which Jaron was already on board because he's part of the same community. And Whitsitt, I do think they threatened and silenced. And now we're probably not ever going to hear from him very much in the Flat Earth community after this because he's lost all credibility. And
I asked Saab, do you think they sign NDAs? I think you're more of the law guy. But
probably it probably had no other choice. I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, what I'm saying is I would like to have been. For all I know, they was all in on this together from the fucking get-go. I don't know.
Right.
At this point, I don't know. I have to question every fucking thing now. The level of deceit that I've seen, that Facebook page, that shit is very telling right there.
Yeah,
they signed NLAs and NDAs. That's non-disclosure agreement and non-life agreement guaranteed. And on top of that, the fact that they have had to, that's where I was. The Duffy deal with the documentary that's being made. Now what they're going to do is advertise this in the channels, because they've now compartmentalized the internet. They control everybody's personalized feed. They're going to advertise the documentary to those who have been interested in discovering flat Earth, right? And they're going to put it on Netflix, which is another streaming program or a platform where they can analyze how many people watch it. This is what they're doing. They're compartmentalizing people through the internet because they're making it so that everybody connects to the internet. And then they're compartmentalizing it. And then they're going to create channels and feeder streams and different podcasting or, avenues that are going to control your thinking. That's what they want to do. That's what they're doing. And make no mistake that documentary was the whole point of, because how do you already have everything set up with making it? This was pre-planned to make it a documentary. That's what's going to pay Duffy's legal bullshit that he's in right now for defrauding people through, guess what, securities, which is human trafficking. So, and that's a conversation for another time, but that's how they're doing this. And so they're going to release this documentary. It's going to be another behind the curve, probably on Netflix. Maybe, nobody's going to really want it, but they're going to be obligated to show it, because they're all controlled by the same people. And maybe it's Netflix, maybe it's Amazon, who knows, right? Maybe Amazon because they're tied into the space industry pretty tight. And then they're going to advertise it not to the normies, the same reason why there's nothing on that Facebook page about the final experiment. They're keeping this, they're compartmentalizing us on the internet right now. That's what they're doing. They're separating us. And I know this because I know the name of the database that they use to record everybody who's watching right now. Okay. The programs that they use to filter your data through and it's controlled by AI in order to profile you. I know the names of all of these things, and this stuff, it's actually led to the death of 40 people since the 1970s. Reporters, mainly. Right? But I'm not going to get into it because I'm not sure. First of all, you really can die for talking about this stuff. And secondly, that's not the focus of tonight's discussion. So they have an entire, they know what you will do before you do it. Period.
I think it's pretty unfucking predictable, and I stay that way.
No, but your unpredictability is also a consistency, so it's predictable. That's how that works. It's amazing.
No, I view it like that. Because that's what I do. I'll go on with it. I'll repeat a pattern, then I'll just fucking break it for a little bit, and then I'll come back and I'll do something different slightly. It's like I've always made
but
it.
Now it's predictable.
Well, not very much.
You are predictably unpredictable, which makes you a threat.
Predictably unpredictable. I like that one.
Yeah, no, it's the truth though. That's how AI would categorize you or me. That you're predictably
probably not a good idea to underestimate me then, I guess. And and this is, I gotta say that they really did in this, they made a blunder. They drank their own Kool-Aid. Now make no mistake, none of these fucking cats believe that they're on a globe. Not really. Toon, Craig, none of these fucking cats actually believe that they live on a globe. There's no way that they possibly could, because you see them constantly trying to scramble for bullshit to make people believe that it is a globe. They've heard everything. They know. All right, so let's not make any mistakes here. They're not really globers. They know the fucking real deal. They know what's up. So that's a game. That's a game that they're playing with us. All right. And yeah, they're going to try to use, Candace Owens as producer or whatever the fuck else. Of course, this is going to be a movie production, and they got to use somebody with some clout. This is why we've seen the emergence of Roseanne Barr and Alex Jones and these other characters being exposed to the flat earth. It's growing to such a point that they want to desperately shut it right down. Not by necessarily shutting me down, because Well, maybe because I break people their brains away from being chained into some kind of a paradigm. To shut down anybody's inquisitiveness into it. That's what the fuck that is for. They already know, because how many times have we said it? 1,000,000 times, man. Once you've seen it, you can't go back.
No, there are no actual ex-flat earthers.
No.
Yeah.
And the only real globers are those that just don't know any better and are maybe in a bit of cognitive dissonance. But once they're exposed to the facts, once they're exposed to the realities of it and the impossibilities of the globe, Earth, even the whole idea, and that's where I like to start. Why do you think you live on a globe? Because that was a psychological operation in itself. They had to give it to you as a child by a trusted adult who is deemed as someone who is a giver of knowledge, perhaps. You see? And this is why they present it to you. And you ask somebody, nobody ever told you lived on a globe whirling around through a fucking void. What would ever make you even start to think such a thing? And the answer is always nothing. Of course, they'll look for an excuse and say a sunset or a sunrise, and there's good reason for that. Of course there is. That's one of the first basic questions a child asks. What happened to the sun at night, Daddy? Why does the sun come from the darkness, Mommy? Well, because it goes around a globe. A globe? What's that? They don't know any fucking better. They were told the same goddamn thing. So that's where it was given to you. If nobody ever gave you that fucking idea, there would be no reason for you to ever think that or even go along those lines of thinking. Be honest with yourself.
Well, you just demonstrated actually how they hijacked the reason we were created. Okay. They hijacked that because what is the greatest question of any philosopher that you know? What is the greatest question? And I know my dad knows. He might not think of it immediately, but he knows for sure. I know because we've had this conversation. He knows.
Who am I?
No, just why.
Well, yeah, that's part of the why.
That's it. That's the whole.
Going, okay, I exist, therefore I am. But
right.
Why?
Why? That's why you ask, who am I? What am I? That is the philosopher's question, summed up in 3 words. Why? Or 3 letters. Sorry. Why?
Yep.
Why? Right? And that's what separates us from the NPCs. We are the actual real people. Right? Now, I don't know what other people are, or if they're actual people, if they're on a path or whatever, but what the real people that started in the creation of Genesis, right? The bloodline of Adam. We say, why? 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 And they hijack that. They hijack that from the very beginning because they know that the child is going to ask the mother or father, right? Why? And so what they determined was the best solution was to take control of your rearing, your raising, your education, right? Mm-hmm. See, back in the day, in the 1800s, very few people know this, but there was public school, but it was not run by the federal government, especially, which is feudal, which is feudal, which is fee, which means you're a subject, right, to the crown, and you owe a service, right? It wasn't controlled by the federal government, and it damn sure wasn't controlled by the state government, which is our child. It was controlled by the community and funded by the community. And the common curriculum included Latin, classic literature, philosophy. That's a fact. It's a fact. That's what our education used to be. That's what we were. That's what it takes to be a free society.
Real quick, I want to give a shout out, Maria Walker. Thank you so much for your donation. It's very much appreciated. Maria's been a watcher of the show for quite some time too. Seen her in the chat. Well, probably since close to the beginning, but thank you so much.
She was getting pissed I was talking too much, so I shut up for a while. When I hear sovereign, I said, okay.
No. Look, I'm looking at some shit here. Okay, so as you can see, the posts are relatively recent on this ALE Facebook page, right? So when we go to the posts over here, we see the last one was December 30th, right? And talking about their library and showing probably, a stock photograph of the area and everything. And then December 27th, so 3 days before, as could be just, and then here's another one just the day before that, talking about some people they had there and, look at, boy, they got gloves on and all kinds of shit. Anyway, so I'm looking at that. And then I'll go over here to the other parts of the page where I went to, let's check out the reviews.
Oh, look at the penguins.
Yeah, let's check out the reviews, right? So I go in here, 98% recommend it, right? And the last one was from 2016. It's in Russian. I don't know what it says here. It says, closing out the season at Union. So I don't know. This is somebody just posted this. That was the last review under reviews. And shows them, getting on airplanes, and I guess they close it up. Why?
Go back up. Go back up.
It's been the same number of
photo
forever.
That one, yes.
That one?
That doesn't look right to me. Look at the mountains and the snow and stuff.
I don't know, man.
That's
But my point being, look at that one, and then the one before that is February 18th, 2020.
I'm telling you, this is what they're doing. They're making Antarctica the new ISS. ISS has been failing miserably. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were trying to pivot and make this, through the final experiment, the new ISS. Something so tightly controlled, unionized, and like even the ability to go there is so tightly controlled.
Look. Utah. Mormon. It's from a year ago. I've been seeing so many positive reviews here on Facebook on how people are getting paid through cryptocurrency. So many brokers online to choose from, but there was a particular recommendation I saw about MRS Hendrick Jennifer, how her trading platform was helping a lot of, and this is what the fuck? Somebody posted this on here about financial trading or financial investment?
Because the root of law is money. Remember when I told you they need to subvert the biblical cosmology so what separates you from, or the difference between you being a slave, indentured servant, citizen, or being sovereign is money. That's it. It's your relationship to your property. That makes perfect sense to me of why they would put that there. It's your money, your relationship to your estate, right? None of us have money, by the way. Not a single person that's watching or anyone on the panel actually has money. I want you to know that.
Money's not real.
No, you have obligations, what is owed by other people.
Debt notes.
It's debt contracts. They've moved us into the realm of Osiris.
October 31st. It's real cold. Pack an extra sweater. But that was 2018. Look, I've only gone down a little ways, and this
Johnny
is all.
B. Currency is for the poor. Money is for the rich. Money is tangibly valuable. Okay, if you have food in your fridge, that's money. Okay, because you can that's an immediately valuable object that you can trade. All right, what you use in a paper form is not money, and it's an agreement between the IMF and the Federal Reserve, of which you are surety to make sure that the repayment is made, and the repayment is your sweat equity. Sweat equity is labor and the value of it. And with the advent of AI and everything, they have that down to a science. It's your likelihood to perform. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean. Go ahead.
This is just fucking nuts. There ain't a single goddamn mention of their fucking shit on the Facebook page at all.
They're waiting for the data to come back.
Yeah. Right. Sure. Come on,
What
man.
I told you about the data's got you real spooked, doesn't it? Yeah, it should. It should have everybody spooked.
This is fucking crazy.
They know even what we have a layer of unpredictability, so they factor that in. My dad and I do. They factor that in, and they're trying to figure out what we're most likely to do. That's what the data collection process is. They're saying, okay,
they
so
couldn't leave a fucking loose end. Wait, they couldn't leave a loose end like this out. Now, come on.
Skydiving seems a little sketchy in a place
Wait a
like
second.
that.
They're going to leave a fucking loose end like this. They're not even going to put a fucking update in the right time frame. We want to welcome popular YouTubers so and blah 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 down here to do this fine, but not a fucking mention of it. Nothing.
How do you promote your business without doing that?
Dude.
That video I sent you earlier, Dad, play that. The one where they were making the different scenic photographs, remember?
Let me see.
Using the television. If you don't remember, I'll send
Oh,
it.
Yeah. I seen that.
It was brilliant. Yeah, it looks amazing. They show you what they did, and then they show you what they had.
I think I reshared it. I can go over to my thing. Okay, so this is kind of fucking crazy. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, though. I'm going to keep track of this fucking page. Before I go over and get that, I'm going to keep track of this fucking page because
it hasn't changed in a while. I mean, and what they do put up, you see, is obviously not matching up with what.
And then
wait till you see this, Chicago. Watch this.
All right, hang on 1 second. I got to go to my page.
This is how easy it is to fake anything like what my dad just showed with the the YouTubers are down there and stuff like that. Like, it's that easy.
Yeah.
Especially when you have something like Amazon Volume that literally is a digital studio.
And AI, I mean.
Oh, what's up now? This is fucking crazy too, man.
Make that into a t-shirt.
Look at that. Watch this. This is good.
Damn, they can even do it with rockets, huh? Oh, in space.
There's almost nothing that cannot make you think you've seen on your device with the technology they have.
Listen, that's a smoking gun. The fucking ALE Facebook page is a fucking smoking gun.
Yeah, well, it's definitely, yes, I agree with you. That was a good find. The problem is the average comprehension of people who are just, you got to remember what we're doing. What we are all fighting for is the attention of real people who do not know what we know. You see what I'm saying? Like, we're fighting for the attention of people that are so severely indoctrinated and plugged into the matrix, and they know that. And they already know how they plugged them in, so they have an advantage. And we're fighting against that, right?
I also wonder, like,
so when it comes to explaining what you just explained, like intelligent, like I'm not saying that the average person doesn't have intelligence, but what I'm saying is, like, people who've been in this for a long time, like years and years, we can understand that. But the average person, right, which is why they try to keep that divider line, which also is proven by what you have shown. And that divider line is, we're not going to mention the final experiment, because if we mention it on this page, then it's going to draw all the people we have successfully programmed over to, what the hell is that? The final experiment. And why would it be necessary? Oh,
Exactly.
because there's no curvature. And there's no, you know what I mean? Oh, because there is no physical demonstration of the earth being a sphere, right? And they don't want to do that. So they're keeping this hard, what you identified, and that's why I think it's brilliant, is you identified the hard line of the avenues of technological subversion, of where they know what to feed to certain people and they know what to feed to other people, and they're not going to muddy the two because they don't want to draw anyone into our sphere. They want to convert those who are on the fence in our sphere back to the other group of people.
I'm coming up on 12 o'clock midnight here, and I have to get up in the morning. So I'm going to go around, let everybody give a last word as to what they want to put out there into the ethosphere, if you want to call it that. So Chicago Cubby Bear, what do you want to leave everybody with tonight?
I had a good time hanging out with you guys. It was my first time up here, and hopefully I'll come back again and
Absolutely
we can discuss some more topics or whatever. But you know, happy New Year.
It was actually good to see you, by the way.
Yeah, man.
Because I've never seen you personally. I've seen you in the chat a lot.
Yeah.
2025 is a new year. We're seeing all
New
kinds
year,
of
new
shit we
me,
never saw
baby.
before. We're seeing shit we never saw before. That's what's so cool.
Maybe you'll start podcasting here soon.
Yeah, I plan on doing something here.
There you go.
More like news related. I'm gonna write stuff all down by hand and just, you know,
Well,
kind of.
then-
I want to document. I want not something on the internet or anything like that. I want actual physical proof of stuff.
Actually, I'll work with you if you're interested, because
definitely.
because I'm going to start doing that daily of just covering the news. And
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I started today.
Yeah. Yep. I know what you're talking about. So,
all right.
It's just because things get like, if you don't have a physical copy of something, it can all just go away. It can all be explained away. The internet can erase it. No, I want physical paper copy.
What I do, I got a copy. I got a copy of every stream I've done.
Yeah,
everyone.
That's what
no,
I'm
he
saying.
meant physical, and I understand where he's coming from, because I actually a lot of stuff I find, like laws. I have literally briefcases full of paperwork. I get what you're saying. So sorry, Dad, didn't mean to cut you off. But yeah, I understand.
Kevin, what do you got for us?
Nothing really. I just was peeking in there, wondering how you guys were doing on the TFE crap. But I don't believe any of it. I never have believed any of it. I'm not going to feed into none of it. And I mean, I just hope everybody else understands that there's just way too much bullshit going on to even think about believing any of that.
Yeah, I mean that right. You didn't mention shit about it on your Facebook page. What? Come on, you're putting out about this other shit. It's almost like you're scrambling to look for something. Okay, well, let's say something about the library. And oh wait, here's some people that came down here and did this, that, and the other. It's like, dude, what do you? Wouldn't this be a big deal? I mean, supposedly it went into the New Zealand and Australian newspapers, right? So what the fuck? Wouldn't that be a big boon for you guys? Hey, yeah, come down on an ALE excursion and see the fucking midnight sun in the south, right?
Right.
No takers on that. I mean, good God, y'all. All right, well, I want to thank everybody for coming up here tonight. And
can I have a final word or no?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you. I thought you did, man. He's like,
no, I didn't. So there is not a series of conspiracies, and this recent event, I knew that on some level, but the research I've done on debunking the final experiment and the knowledge and what my channel is ordinarily focused on made me realize, which is the law, by the way, that there is not actually a diverse plethora of conspiracies. There is actually just one conspiracy, and flat earth is as important actually as the law, because what they're trying to do with the law entirely depends on getting you to disbelieve the Bible, period. And if you don't believe me, I know that might sound crazy, just check out some of my streams, or, you know, my dad's done some stuff on it and everything. And here's the thing. There's just one conspiracy. This is just one branch of one tentacle of an octopus, but it's a major tentacle. It's necessary. That's why they immediately went to work on it. As soon as the United States did Antarctic expeditions. And I believe that that was necessary in the first place because we are constantly reset. But I don't get into that that's more my dad's thing he talks about. It's just we focus on the law, because if you want to learn history, you have to learn the law of that time and the finances, like the economy of that time. What did they use for money? Because right now what they use for money are slave bonds based on your labor, right? So when you understand the law, you can go back and look at what did they use for money. Did they use real money, gold, silver, tangibly valuable objects, right? Or are they using contracts based on the labor of their citizenry?
Right,
And it really
right.
tells a whole story. Okay.
Yeah.
And
If we start getting into that, Ryan, we're going to be here all fucking night again.
I'm not. You said I could say the last thing.
I know, but we're getting way down in the weeds, man.
What's your website,
I'm trying to get off here so I can go to bed, man.
Yeah. So anyways, that's my point. The final experiment is just another operation done by the same people who are behind all conspiracies, because it's not a plethora of conspiracies. It's just the one conspiracy. It's the one. And conspiracy does not mean fake. It does not mean fake. What does it mean, Dad? What does conspiracy mean?
Well, it's a plan usually made in collusion, and to commit a nefarious act. Usually, that's why it's done in collusion. It's usually given a negative connotation because of the fact of, well, all good works are done in the light of day. We have laws against it, like the Logan Act, where it makes it supposedly illegal for any government official to meet in collusion with a foreign government official. This is why one of the biggest things against the Bilderberg.
Absolutely.
So
and
yeah, but a conspiracy has been made to be, it's been weaponized. The word has been weaponized to mean a wackadoodle, and it doesn't. And this is one of the biggest things that they use with their gaslighting technique. Oh, you're fucking retarded. You're deluded. Oh, you're just coping. Coping. Let's talk about that ALE fucking Facebook page now. Let's see about that. What's up?
Yeah, so the actual lawful definition mirrors that to a degree, and it's actually applied by two or more to do something unlawful. And that's the whole point. And so, you know, what we have to regain, especially if you're watching from the United States, is we are the only country that has ever been created that has sovereignty over its government. They borrow our sovereign power, not the sovereign power of a king, not the sovereign power of a pope. They borrow our sovereign power, of which we still have. And so a conspiracy, they've diluted that in order to be able to paint us as like what my dad said. So my point is, and the final thing I want to bring up is, there is not multiple conspiracies. There is just one, and every branch of this multi-tentacled Leviathan are working towards the same end. And it all hinges on the destruction of your relationship with divinity. So that's all I'm going to say. I burned the corporate fiction at YouTube, exposing bar pirates and the central banking cartel on Rumble. And my dad is going to be, we had a recent beef, but he's always usually been a regular guest, and I would almost say co-host in many cases on my show. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. So
see, people are already on it now. Good for you, New World Order. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming on. It's been a good show, I think, and a good way to start off the new year. And I want to thank everybody for your donations. Those of you that have sent money, and those of you who didn't, even thank you for being here. Like, share, subscribe, and remember, use your fucking mind. Use your mind. Don't let somebody guide your perceptions or whatever. I mean, use your own critical thinking abilities. Use logic. Use sense. And when you see Bernaysian tactics being used on you to get you to appeal to emotion in lieu of facts, it's like, wait a second. I don't want to know about the feely stuff. I want to know about what exactly do we got here in front of us. That's what I'm looking at. And unfortunately, it's called into question some people that we have trusted and stuff. I don't know what the fuck went on, but I know that whatever went on, it wasn't what it was purported to be. And I'm sorry, that whole thing with the ALE Facebook page, that's a fucking smoker. You're not going to get that one by me. There's too much. There's just too much. All these little fucking factors. And like I've always said, the devil's in the details. And I'm sorry we had to pick it apart. But God damn it, if Jared and Whitsitt had not been the people that went on this excrement, I'm going to call it, if they had not been, if the people that went on this, you guarantee that they would be fucking going over it exactly the same as we have. 100%. And if you don't believe me, just go back and look at them analyzing NASA films. Okay? Same critiquing being done. Okay? On a bigger scale. The only thing is there's kind of some heartbreak with that because it's like, oh, wait a second, these are the biggest guys in the flat earth. Yeah, that's another thing. How do they get to be biggest guys in the fucking flat earth thing? Because they've been in it a long time. Look, you get squashed hard in this shit. You don't find very much, you get pushed down to the bottom of the fucking thing in this outfit. I'm just saying, I don't know. I guess maybe you could be pretty popular and everything, have a lot of subscribers or whatever, and that's not really important to me. It's like, are we putting out ideas? Are we thinking? Are we using our fucking noodle? That's what I'm asking, and that's what I'm doing. And if I seem to be the fish going up against the stream, well, so be it. I'm not going to let consensus dictate what the fuck I'm looking at.
It's your job.
All right. Well, everybody, don't forget, like we always like to say, the Lord loves a working man. Don't trust Whitey. See your doctor and get rid of him because he'll probably kill you. And if you heard the shot, it wasn't meant for you. Y'all have a great night.
Thanks, Dave.
Night.
Hey, how all you glow-tards doing? Just wanted to check in from how you were doing when you all learned about me when you were just little wee little ones, and you were too stupid to question anything, and just wanted to check in to make sure you still believed in me. You still believe in me, right? You better still believe in me. Because if you don't, I'm gonna call you names. Like, you still live in your mama's basement, and you better not breed. That's okay. I know you still believe in me.